when somebody first mentioned it, and they were
Okay. Yeah, if he jumps on the chat, I'll send him a link. All right. We are live. Welcome to a live stream. We'll get started here shortly. I see Kagan's in the chats. How are you, Kagan, the Tennessean? Can you guys hear and see us okay? Greetings, Switch. Switch to Linux in the house. Say hello to Switch. Mark Yates. Switch, if you want to join, I'll send you a link. Ah, I just got the message. I can send you a link. Duh. Okay, hang on. Give me a second here.
I know Derek was in his. There he is. It's just, hey, Derek.
Yeah, I think I already sent Eric the link, so let me go here and do this first. Mill Udic. Hello, Mill. I'm doing good, Mark. Thank you. I'll get to your comments here. Let me get this out of the way here. Derek, I think I sent you a link, so check. Yeah, I think I did. You will join in a bit. Okay, got it. Okay, I think that's what you said. Okay, and let me go to. Let's see. Actually, Tom, you want me to send it to your Hotmail to see if that works? Fun Linux Laptop is in the house. That's a great name, chat name. Fun Linux. I like it. Fun Linux Laptop. Awesome. How are you? Robert Lopez. Hola, Senor Lopez. ¿Qué pasa, man? Shamin Mohammed. Hello. Shamin, is this your first time on the chat? If it is, welcome. We have a custom. Anybody new, we have to say hello to Shamim. And if it's not your first time, we say hello anyway. Shamim, welcome. How are you?
Hello, everyone. And hello, Derek. And I realize now I've been spelling your name wrong for a while here, haven't I?
Yeah, most people do, though.
Jeez.
Well, I was wondering. I was always going to ask you about that, how you spelled it, because I was wondering if I was doing it right. So.
Yeah, there's so many different spellings of Derek. Yeah.
Tom, I sent the link to your Hotmail. See if that works. If not, I'll go the other route.
And since I missed it, hello, Shamim.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome. Steve Winkler, hello. Hopefully this monitor will not die tonight. We were talking off live, me and Joe. My third monitor crapped out. Well, Derek knows. My third one. I suppose if you do over 2,000 videos, things will break. But really, third monitor?
I just got my third monitor up and running less than an hour ago. When I switched video cards, the new video card I bought has 5 ports in the back of it. 3 of them are display ports. None of my 3 monitors are display ports, so at least one of them has to plug into that display port. Okay. So I had to one day ship something from Amazon, a cord, an adapter for HDMI to display port for one of these monitors. So.
Doing good, Shamim. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. If you have any questions or comments, you're welcome to say hello. What Linux do you use, or do you use Linux at all? Tom, give me a second. I thought I did, but you didn't get it? All right, give me a second here. I'll send you a link. Yeah, my probably, well, not probably, my favorite laptop, the one with the Harman Kardon speakers that are, it's kind of rare. That one broke. The monitor, the screen was flickering in and out.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, maybe it's just a loose cable. So I took out the cover off the screen, looking at the cables, the connector. It looks good. So it's probably the cable going inside the motherboard. So I I started taking out the keyboard and I broke the keyboard cable. I said, you know what? I'm done. That's it. I'm not messing with that. So anyway, it does. I can hook it up VJ out to my TV. This was the one right before the HD models came out, Toshiba. So Toshiba's been reliable. It's just one of those things. Anyway, It's my third one in like 8 years, and I was telling Joe, yeah, I like taking $1,000 bills and just throw them out the window running down the highway. It's awesome. It's a great feeling.
Yeah.
That's what I'm at about $1,000. I'm like, really? Oh man, hang on, Tom. Let me. Where is your email here? But anyway, I can hook it up to my TV. Derek, I jumped on last night using that, so.
Well, I can feel your pain. Like I spent $450 in the last couple of days just because of the video card issues I was having.
Okay.
That video card I've been running for so long was definitely giving me some issues. It was starting to fail on me or something because things just weren't working right.
Tom, send me an email again if you would, please, and I'll send you the link if it's not too much trouble. Yeah, it's like, you know, and what was weird on that laptop before it went bad, I tried to install Peppermint and got a kernel panic. I'm like, boy, that's something I haven't seen in years. I said, panic!
That's
Panic!
right there.
Panic! I'm like, fine. So, of course, for all you newbies, if that happens, what you do is you call 911, and the Windows 10 ambulance comes to the house and fix it right up.
Yeah.
Kernel panic usually equals reinstall.
Well, you know what?
Funny is maybe panic because your machine's going, this doesn't look like Mate talk.
All I know is I was able to dual boot. It didn't destroy the grub boot, you know. So I went into Windows 10 and did what I had to do, and then that's when the screen finally just anyway. So I figure, you know what? When things go bad, I have a glass of wine to celebrate my third monitor. Here's to many more monitors being crapped out. Not. Anyway, God, one of those months. Anyway, yeah, Tom, send me an email and I'll send you the link. But everything else is running okay. I got back from and I got my other laptop here just in case this thing goes bad. I don't think it will, but hey, who knows with TOS, you know. Zenaris is in the house. How are you, Zenaris? Welcome. Samsung is the best by far. Okay.
Great.
Albert Crow, hello there. Oh, okay. Tom, you're in the house. Excellent.
Yeah. It got sent. I'm not sure why it got sent to one of my junk emails, and then I did not.
Oh, I had that one.
Correctly. Yeah,
it's still
fine.
safe for. Okay, all
I
right.
just didn't. When I forwarded it to the account I needed to grab it from, it was not. I wrote the wrong email.
I just happened to have that one saved, and I sent it. Okay, all right.
That'll work. Grab comments up here.
Okay, make sure I said hello to everybody. If I missed anyone, please let. We'll get started here soon on my thoughts and comments on my upgrade.
What are we talking about today?
My upgrade, my thoughts, semi-review of my upgrade to from Ubuntu Mate 17.10 to the new one 18.04. If everybody has not said hello to Shamim, everybody please say hello to Shamim. I believe it's his first time.
No, Shamim.
Albert Crow, thumbs up. All right,
Brendan,
thumbs up. Hello. Yep.
Welcome.
Brendan, hello there. Came here from STL stream. Very good. Brendan, first time on the channel. Brendan, we have a custom. Everybody please say hello to Brendan.
Hello, Brendan.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Great.
Hello.
It's always great seeing new people come on. By the way, those of you who contribute to the channel via PayPal, I try to answer every single email, and if I miss someone, please let me know. You know, sometimes I need to get caught up. But someone sent me a PayPal donation, and he said, I think it's a she, said, I sent it, why not reply? And I did reply. A little bit late, so if I try to reply to every single one that's important to me. I do it in private, or if you prefer here, I know some people like to do it anonymously, and that's fine. So, hello Rita, welcome. Yes, I'm wearing my dress shirt, my blue polo shirt from Florida. That still fits after 18 years. I'm so proud of myself.
18 years and a lot of pizza.
Yeah, really. Here we go, Mate and meatballs, right, Derek?
I was thinking about making me some tortilla chips for this evening.
Nice.
Great little snack.
But I came back from a high school banquet, high school graduation banquet, and I was dressed up. So yeah. But yeah, we were talking before. The monitor, the screen broke on my Toshiba. It was flickering. Hi, Timo. Welcome.
Hey, Tim.
The screen was flickering on and off. It was funny because right before that happened, I tried to install Peppermint, and I got a kernel panic. And of course, that hasn't happened to me in years. I joked, if that happens, you call the Windows 10 ambulance, and then you just boot into Windows 10 anyway. So I got rid of Peppermint. I went to install. What did I want to install? Ubuntu 1804, and that's when the screen started going bad, flickering. So I took the screen cover off. I thought maybe it's a loose connection. Everything's fine. Maybe it's the cable going inside the actual, motherboards. I started taking out the keyboard and broke the freaking keyboard cable. So I thought, that's it. I'm done with this. I can hook it up to my TV. So that's what happened to me last night. God, my third monitor.
And how long?
8 years. I mean, realistically, if you do over 2,000 videos, things are going to break. Yeah, obvious.
I mean,
but three monitors?
I mean, I go through a number of them, but just what I do. But
and the different brands. It isn't like it's one brand. It's just.
Yeah, I'm running right now. I have an Acer and I have 2 AOCs.
Okay.
And if you're running multi monitors, you have a bigger chance of one failing on you too. So. You're running 3 monitors. You have 3 times the chance of one of them.
Well, I don't run at the same time. I mean, like I don't have I run one at a time. These are just. That's why. Because if you run 3 at the same, obviously sooner or later, because it's the law of averages. No, these were separate ones that are turned off normally.
Okay. So
that's
you had 3 fail on you. 3 different.
3 separate. Okay. Right.
I thought you were running a 3 monitor system.
No.
On you. Okay.
No. I would have to get a bigger. Like a computer desk to do that. I kind of have like a cheapy, picnic desk here to the right, just set up for now with my laptop in case this one craps out. But I don't think it will. Cross my fingers, But no, those are just. What's unusual is that they're turned off normally. Anyway, that's what happened to me last night. Let me.
But I honestly, I'm trying to think as far back as I can remember. I have never ever actually had a monitor die on me. So I don't want to jinx myself.
It's kind of rare.
Back there, I just stopped using it right now.
I've had a lot of hard drives fail. Power supplies, of course, are going to fail on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, monitors, not so much.
It's weird. I mean, I can hook it up, my Toshiba, to the TV with the VGA cord, and it works fine. So that's how I'm going to use it till the CPU craps out, and then I'm done with that. Let me toss in some links here.
What type of laptop is it?
Toshiba satellite with Harman Kardon speakers. Really nice sounding speakers on it.
Only like $50-$60 to get a new monitor on it.
Yeah, I mean, then a keyboard shot. I got to get the keyboard, but because
keyboards are $10-$15.
Yeah, it's 8 years old, so I'm not going to put money into it.
Okay.
I mean, it's been reliable for the most part. What I'm mad is not because of it's the same. I'm mad because it's the pattern. 3 monitors that. But I can hook it up to my big screen TV that's hooked up to Comcast, and I can use it as a, I can do it that way. So that's how I'm going to salvage it. We got 29 viewers. Welcome all. I think we've said hello to everybody. If there's anybody new, please don't be shy. Please just stop by and say hello. You don't have to give your real name or nothing or ask a question. But please stop by. I need some love. And we'll get started here shortly. So let me toss in some links here. Let's see. So yeah, I got my wine, so I'm feeling good. I came back from that banquet, feeling good from it. It went long. It was like over 3 hours. So many awards. But luckily, the weather tonight was nice in the 60s, comfortable. Very nice. Okay, there's a link there. For those of you who would like to support the channel with PayPal, there's a link there. Again, if I miss anybody who contributes, please do let me know, and I'll send an email say thank you. Let's see here. put an Amazon link. These are some of my recommendations of stuff that I've bought or I have reviewed or researched and people have bought. If you want to shop Amazon, that's for the USA only right now. And Rita says, Toss, you have my love, just don't tell the wife. Hey, honey, you got my love too. Welcome, Anarita and the wife. How are you, too?
I have to ask Carmine. I've got a
Please.
back here, and we have traffic that, believe it or not, is several blocks away. But on the weekends, the kids all get loud. I want to make sure you're not hearing that in the background, because otherwise,
I do not. Can you guys hear anything?
I haven't heard anything
Okay.
yet.
Okay. It's off in the distance, but I just want to make sure it wasn't disturbing your
Okay.
feed.
Yeah, things can get loud here on my end sometimes too.
Okay.
But normally it doesn't pick that up.
Apparently, according to the neighbors, I'm the loudest one around here. I'm not surprised.
You have the Russian come to the door. I will destroy American Linux.
He tried. I can always climb off with a frozen pizza. I mean,
It's all those parties.
Ah,
Linux
Russian.
parties.
Ah, so they bring the vodka, you bring the pizza. Understood.
There you go.
Understood. Steven Anderson, you got YouTube Red today because I understand it helps. Yes, it does. I think it's a 50-50 split. Tom, are you aware of that? With
no,
YouTube
let me
Red?
search that for you real quick.
I think it's a 50-50 split.
I
Thank you.
there.
The best way is through PayPal because I get most of it, most of what you want to donate. But look, if that works for you, that's perfectly fine. But I think it's a 50-50 split. Normally, people who have PayPal, Patreon, some others get most of it. But with that, it's like the Super Chat works nicely because it's so convenient. But that's a 50-50 or like 55 to me and 45 to YouTube, I think. But that's okay. However you guys want to do it. But YouTube Red is fine. Basically, I believe when you do that, the ads are gone, but the money you give goes to the content creator. I think that's how that works. It's hard to keep track with all this, changing ways to help support a channel. But Mill says we need Italian pizza distro. Hey, you want Italian pizza? Okay.
Yeah, they don't seem to publish how much you make, but to my understanding, it's very much like the way Brave works. And you're a YouTube Red purchaser. The more you spend on a given channel or a given video, the more the money goes back to support the creator. That's my guess. I mean, I can tell you that about on any given video, about 10% of your income will come from YouTube Red versus ad revenue, but that's because there's significantly fewer people on it.
Okay. I think the chat is 55-45 split, I think. I thought I read that.
No, the ads is 55-45. I think the super chat is it's either 60 or 70 goes to you and the rest goes to YouTube.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
So you get more on the super chat than you do on the video.
Well, then you guys should do super chat. There you go.
It's still not super good, but it's good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with that because it's when you give $5, they're charging you $5 and not $5.33 like what Patreon tried to do, which they are not doing. They were going to do that. But I'm not giving Google my credit card. No way. Okay. Brendan, we'll just use PayPal.
Google probably already has your credit card.
I know. Too late, Brendan. No, but I completely understand. PayPal I used for years. I feel comfortable. It's used worldwide. It seems secure for what it's worth. So that's why I stuck with with PayPal.
Anybody use Stripe before?
I haven't.
No. I heard it's pretty decent though. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm building my own personal support network. Kind of sidestep Patreon if I can.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna probably put Stripe in there as well as PayPal. I'm gonna put a few options in there.
Okay.
So, and I'm mostly there. I'm shooting for about a month to have that launched.
Okay.
And I got most of the framework in last night.
I really wished AdSense worked the way it did before, because that was plenty for this channel, but obviously times have changed, and now to worry about other avenues of revenue stream really is a pain in my cannoli, so I'll just be honest.
It's not...
That's the last thing I wanted to do. That's the last thing I want. Yeah, but it's not me. I want to do content, I don't want to, Anyway, it is what it is, so I'll put the link again for those of you. Yeah, that's what I use is PayPal. Yeah, see, before... the money coming in and the growth was really decent. It paid for the channel, but then obviously things started changing a couple of years. I'm like, really? Now I got to worry about another thing on YouTube? Anyway.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to move away from them on parts where I can.
Yeah.
And fortunately for that type of thing, the biggest cost is the production, and that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years.
It would be nice if you had a video demonetized and you didn't worry about it because you have other sources coming in. Yeah.
Yeah.
That should be the goal of probably of any creator, is to have enough, cushion, as it were, coming in where you don't have to use the AdSense or turn off the AdSense or on at least 50% of the uploads, if not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And just use the AdSense as a backup, as it were. But see, those are the more astute content creators did that, prepared themselves before this happened, and didn't rely. There's an old saying: "Don't put your eggs all in one basket."
Yeah, well, that's how I've lived my life for a while. So, it's not something that's new for me.
Yeah, I never really thought about it because, again, when I started this over 8 years ago, it was pretty much a hobby. I wanted to learn more about Linux, and then a couple years later, the AdSense revenue kicked in and started paying for the channel. I'm like, okay, well, then I'll keep doing it. But after 8 years, I really do need to update the office, the equipment, but the AdSense revenue just isn't enough. So that's why I get mad when my third monitor breaks. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anna Rita posted a question. He said, when a SD card goes bad, do they overheat like hot? Because I had one and it almost burned my fingers, so that is why I'm asking. Well, I'm going to say it could. It depends on what failed on it, because it is just a circuit board in there. I mean, if something shorted out or whatever, I don't know for sure. I do know that there's another guy that have been following, and he wasn't posting for a long time on YouTube, and he started again. I think it's called Hard Drive Recovery or something like that. And he's got an accent. I'm not sure where he hails from, but he tends to fix a lot of those too. So,
are you talking about Lewis?
No, not Lewis. It's another guy. I can probably look him up and maybe try to give him information. Yeah, Lewis is good too. But this guy, he was just working on. Matter of fact, a lot of times he'll take the chips off of some of those cards and swap them or whatever, if to recover some of the data and things like that, because the board is, I guess, where it's stored in there. So it's pretty interesting stuff. And like I said, he wasn't doing it for a long time. It's called Hard Drive Recovery Service. Actually, HDD Recovery Services is the way the channel name reads. Like I said, he's got an accent, so I'm not sure where he's from. But so maybe you could post a question to him too.
Tom, Mark Yates says he's had very good success with Stripe. So
okay, good.
Very good.
One of the things I wanted to avoid is PayPal is like any other business that could go crazy. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. Hey, everything's through PayPal now, and then PayPal goes crazy. So.
PayPal's been around a while, and it's
Forever.
the one thing why I think I feel more better with PayPal is because it's used worldwide. It's simple. If you pledge $1, they charge you $1, not $1.33 or $1.40. It's used on eBay, which is worldwide. I've used it on eBay. I've never had it. I have one of their credit cards. When I've called customer support for questions, they've been very helpful. So I tend to recommend things on things that I use, services that I use.
I've
That's
used
why
PayPal for at least 15 years.
There you go.
Probably longer. Accepting payments, through websites and such. I've never had any bad experience.
Never had an issue. That's why when Patreon did their thing and then they switched back, I already canceled. I didn't go back. Maybe I should. I don't know. But PayPal's been so universal.
Yeah.
Maybe I should. Yeah, somebody said my links are still saved on PayPal. I'm sorry, on Patreon. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a poll. Should I go back to Patreon here?
I looked that up the other night when they said that in there, and your name pops up, but when you click on it, it says it's not there.
Okay.
So
All right.
maybe it was just when they did the search, they saw the name pop up, but the actual.
It was so weird because I think I posted something on it, and and it wasn't just me who were really ticked off about what they were trying to do. So I deleted it. I thought I did the right thing. I speak from the heart, and it was less than a week later, hey, we're sorry, we won't do that, we want you. I'm like, come on, man, you know. Anyway,
Yeah.
maybe I reacted too quickly. I don't know, but
yeah. There's a question there from Robert to me: is Nextcloud a free service or not? If you get it hosted, you probably can't afford it. That basically you can purchase a Nextcloud instance which is professionally and securely maintained, but it's really targeted exclusively towards the enterprise. It's a lot of money. But the Nextcloud itself is an open source application, and they have the installation. It's very easy. So if you pick up any VPS service that you want, which is the best way, you can do it on shared hosting as well, but any VPS service, you can install it. A lot of your C panels will come with something like either is Fantastico still around? I forget, or Softaculous, or any of the script installers. A lot of those are now starting to come with it. I'm actually doing, there's a new startup in the VPS world called SkySilk that I'm going to be doing some videos with soon. And basically, they're kind of like a DigitalOcean thing. They asked me if I can be a beta tester for them. You can go on their system, buy a VPS for like $5 a month. There's an auto install for Nextcloud. I haven't played with it yet, but I will be doing that very soon. So it's free to use as a as a downloading it and installing it on your own system, but you have to have your own server to get it directly from them as enterprise type stuff.
Okay. Adjust my lighting here. Maybe that looks better. Got a question, Steve. Do any of you use a camcorder with HDMI capture or to a live stream, or do you use webcams? We all use webcams, I believe. The DSLR cameras, like the Canon Rebels, I believe that's better. Well, I know it's better quality, but you need to spend between $600 to $1,000 for something like that. We use webcams. I believe it's good enough, but for professional quality, don't use a webcam. It's that simple.
Yeah, for what I do, I mean, I'm mainly recording my desktop. I include like a webcam of my face, but like if I was going outdoors and video, then I would need one of these $1,000 cameras. But for what we do, this is fine. Yeah. But if you ask what's better, obviously it's like a Nikon or a Canon or Sony or Panasonic. Yeah.
It also depends on what you're doing and what level of professionality, because a lot of your cameras on your cell phones can do just as good. I do all my outdoor philosophy with the front-facing camera on a Nexus.
They've gotten better. They've gotten better, absolutely.
And the rear-facing camera on a as low as an iPhone SE is 4K.
Yeah, no, they're fine. I mean, from a technical standpoint, you want a regular camera.
Now, the thing
However,
the thing about the Nexus 5X is the front-facing camera is full HD and it's excessively good quality. In fact, I decreased the quality before I post the videos because they're super good, and I can plug in an external USB mic to the back of the camera. So
that might be a good topic for the next Life for Linux, how to get started on YouTube and on a budget.
Yeah, I think one of the things I might do is when I'm done with the Facebook experiment, I might toy around with that phone, because that was a $30 phone.
Okay.
And you don't even need a plan, you just record. And that thing's got an SD slot, so that might be a good way to start on YouTube for $30.
You don't have to, you really don't. I mean, obviously, if you have the budget, don't skimp, because it does show. But for this, I use believe it or not, a single spotlight, a white bulb, a white LED bulb, well, not LED, something like that. But the walls are all bright white, which really, really helps. So I can tweak it, like this, and this really, really. Now, obviously, having two lights coming at me like at this angle would help. Maybe one in the back to be more professional. But you don't have to spend a lot of money to get started. You can start off with the cell phone. Obviously, with cameras, lighting is key. If your lighting is crap, no good camera is going to help, in my opinion. But if you're planning on painting your house, paint it bright white. There's a tip.
At least your office, your studio.
Yeah, that's my studio. Right now I have a single light, and it seems to work. So but really, you should have multiple lighting.
And for those getting started recording videos, the first thing you need to spend a little money on, the most important thing, is audio. If people can't hear you, they're not going to watch anything you're doing. So They'll put up with bad video, but bad audio, no one's going to listen to it.
Yeah, if you sound like you're far away or muffled like this or crackling or kids, yeah, just use common sense. That's why
backup stuff too, you know.
That's why I tend to recommend, if you're new to all this, do a video just recorded unlisted, play it back. Would you want to watch that?
And pass it off to some friends.
Yeah. Now I don't mean I'm talking technical first, not the presentation. Technical, is the video clear enough? Is the lighting? See this? I'm adjusting. Maybe play with the lighting, which is better. Probably this way for me right now, or if I want to get it
there actually.
Now, okay.
Yeah, that's
all right.
Good, because the other way it was you had too much.
Yeah, it's I don't have like a filter from the light. Maybe right there might be good, but play with the lighting. Now, once you get the technical part down, lighting and the headset mic is still best in my opinion. Even though Derek, your Blue Yeti mic is pretty good, I still prefer this. This is only $20, believe it or not. But once you get the technical part down, then practice talking on camera. Do you pause a lot? Do you use a lot of ums, wells? That could slow things down.
Yeah, I spent the money on the Blue Yeti mainly for my budding rap career. I'm coming up with rap scenes.
I remember that was actually pretty good. I'm impressed. Take it from an Italiano who likes Frank Sinatra, Deep Martin. That was freaking okay. Let me tell you. $30 gaming headset, Albert Crow. Okay, yeah. If people can hear you, you don't need to spend $500 on a headset mic. You really don't.
Let me grab my backup kit. I'll be right back. Grab my
backup. Okay, when Tom gets back, I'll get started on my topic, and then we'll go from there. Again, if there are new people joining the stream, the stream. I think I need some more wine, Joe. But no.
Is it Italian wine though?
It was homemade from a friend of mine in West Virginia.
Oh, okay.
I forget what flavor.
Is it muscadine or?
I forget what he said it was. Anyway, it was pretty good. It wasn't the true Sicilian homemade wine that you take one sip, you're like, But the scream, the scream of death.
So I have a backup kit here, which actually is like a more of a full professional type setup. I usually just use the Meteor mic, which is good, but this was, I think I paid maybe 100, 150 for everything here. This is a full wireless system.
Okay.
So literally it's got the whole wireless receiver. It has the wireless mic with the headset. And when I've used this is when my Meteor mic went down for a couple days. This audio is actually really good.
Okay, all right.
Actually, I got it for the kitchen studio, and then of course you use I use a mini soundboard on it.
Okay.
This is only $20 or $30, but then you can actually plug that in directly with microphones.
Yeah.
A variety of different inputs, and it also converts perfectly into a USB system. So this is pretty cheap. It's not it's the Yeti is still cheaper probably, but it's this though does have a lot more versatility.
No, that and then the one below that, Derek, the one that looks like a snowball. Snowball, it's called.
Yeah, it's the snowball, the blue snowball. Yeah.
Right. That's like $50. That's not bad either.
It's reasonably priced. I mean, and it's not bad. It sounds pretty good. I know people that have the snowball and love it.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to start over today, if I had the budget, probably about $2,500, $3,000. A nice. First, I would start off with a nice, fast computer to render videos faster, not wait. A 27-inch monitor versus with the small one here. I really would need a 4K camera now that I think about it.
Yeah, and for CPU, you need a Ryzen, you need a Threadripper. You need NVIDIA Titan GPU. I mean,
especially
go all out.
Especially editing 4K, right?
Right.
And that's a tip. Another tip for 90, in my opinion. For 90% of YouTube videos, 1080p, heck, 720p is good enough. Outside live, 4K probably. Even though 1020p with a high quality camera is probably good enough. But make sure you got the CPU to match with the camera that you buy. Look for 4K ready computers if that makes sense. Anarita says, Toss love red wine too. Told my wife and I drink some tonight, and so did she, and that she's sleeping already. Okay. Yeah, this isn't the true homemade wine that puts you out. It was sweet. It was good. Like I said, I had a bad day yesterday with my monitor going, my third one. But yeah, red wine, they say, is good for you. I don't know.
Before we
Maybe.
leave the topic of audio, I will
Yeah.
say one thing. You can get away with cheap like headset mics or even
Yeah.
desk stand mics, but what you can't
Yeah.
do, you cannot use a webcam mic. Don't even try it.
It's not the same. I mean, for
No.
what we do is fine.
My webcam cost me $110. The mic on it is horrible. It is basically unusable.
I know. What's up? Hey, Logitech, up yours. What's up with the built-in mics, man?
It's
Jeez.
Logitech, yeah.
Sorry, but you know what's funny? My cheaper Logitech mic, which is this one that I don't use the audio on, has better mics than the $100 expensive. What's the matter with your Logitech? Yeah, hey.
I think they just save money because they know no one's going to use the mic on the camera anyway. But
We do. Well, we try to anyway,
I tried it one time, man. It was so bad.
Yeah, when I bought this one a couple years ago, it's like, God.
It's better than the microphone built into the computer.
Depending on the computer, yes. That is true. That is true.
He's right.
That is true.
The microphone on my laptop is horrible too. He's right.
Well, look, look. If I spend like $1,000 or $2,000 on a Mac, I better have a good mic. I'm taking it back.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. PCTLC, good day, mate. PCTLC, who is that?
That's Colin.
Colin, hello, Colin. If you want to join in, please send me a link. TotalOSToday1@gmail.com. You are welcome. Colin from Australia.
Yeah, what time is it in Australia?
He's 12 hours ahead, so he's afternoon.
Oh, great.
15 hours, yeah.
That's right.
He's already had dinner.
Or he's just about ready for lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to join, Colin, send me a link and send me an email. I'll send you the link, okay? All right, so I think we're ready to get started now that we've yapped enough for this evening. It's 11 a.m. Yeah, you're 12 hours ahead, Colin. Okay, cool. Welcome back to another Total OS Today live stream. This is Total OS Today, total technology for beginners and beyond. And then once again, if we have any beginners in the chat, any newbies, you're always welcome to say hello. Ask a question. No question is stupid. All I ask is be family friendly. And one of us may be able to answer your tech question. At least we try. So please do say hello. If you use Linux, if you don't, that's okay. If you use a form of Linux, whatever distribution you use, please tell us and share your experiences. Ubuntu Mate 18.04. The resurrection of the GNOME 2 desktop continues, in my opinion. Started a few years ago from Martin Wimpress, the lead man for Ubuntu Mate. Martin, you're the man. I got to tell you, this one here, Ubuntu Mate, what I use now, this is the first one to really take me away to not let me use Windows 10 that much. I only use it when I have to. So, Martin, you've done a terrific job. And it really is, my first experience with Ubuntu was back in 06 with Ubuntu with GNOME 2, or G2 as I call it, that had the GNOME 2 desktop environment. Very easy for beginners, and it's been resurrected starting, I think, 3-4 years ago, something like that. But it continues with 18.04 Bionic Beaver. It's awesome. It's the perfect blend of the old with the new. Really not just for beginners, but I think for everybody. But if you are a beginner, a newbie, I think something like this to get you started. It is super important if you are a newbie to pick the right Linux distribution to get started. If you pick the wrong one, for whatever reason it is, maybe someone gave you bad advice, but if you pick the wrong one and you can't get it installed to get it working, what is going to be your newbie expression? Man, this sucks. Understandably so. Not fair, but I get it. Been there, done that. But if you pick the right one, such as what I do, or you can pick Linux Mint. It's pretty good. Linux Lite, Peppermint, those are decent newbie distributions. Zorin Lite I kind of like, but for me, Ubuntu Mate just hits all the right channels, as it were. And the 7 or 8 customizations in the Mate tweak tool is brilliant. So if you don't like the custom look of it or the default look of what you see, you can change it. So take a look at Ubuntu Mate. I did upgrade from 17.10 to 18.04. Not a fresh install, but an upgrade install. It went fine. It took about an hour, 15 minutes. I didn't run into any issues. That being said, before you get started on an upgrade, make sure you should be backing up anyway. But back up and back up again. That includes if you run Windows 10 or Mac or whatever. Back up before you do the upgrade. I don't recall having a problem in years on doing an upgrade from a previous version. But things can break. It's possible. That being said, once you back up first, say you have Windows 10 and you're dual booting with whatever, with Ubuntu Mate, we'll say, back up what you have first and then follow the instructions for the upgrade process. Now for me, for the process, the pop-up notification, I didn't get it. Eventually you will. I was impatient, so I did a terminal command in the terminal. I forget what the command was top of my head, but I forced the upgrade. Everything went fine. You have to hit yes a couple times to force it to continue. I think it rebooted once or twice. Check for updates again just to be sure, and everything went fine. And everything should be the way it was, except you have a brand new Linux distribution. So in my opinion, Ubuntu Mate is the Linux gold standard, at least for beginners. Of course, when it comes to Linux, you have hundreds of choices out there. But for beginners, I could probably count on two hands the ones that are really solid, easy, easier for newbies, for beginners. And a lot has changed in 10 years, 12 years since I started using Linux. It's a lot easier for you beginners. You know, back then in my day, there was no Toss Today channel in '06. There was no Quiz Up. There was no Switch to Linux and many others. You know, those came in years later. So we have taken the pain out of you newbies on which ones to choose. I like Ubuntu Mate or Ubuntu Mate, but there are others out there. Somebody's mentioning, Tim O's in the house, he mentioned MX17 is good too. But in my opinion, strictly my opinion, Ubuntu Mate is the perfect blend of the old and the new. It is a resurrection of the G2 desktop or GNOME 2 desktop. So check out Ubuntu Mate 18.04. It is a free download, 32-bit for now, and 64-bit. It's free. If you like what you see, you can, I believe you can donate to Patreon, to the developer, to the team I have, and try it out. You got nothing to lose. So check out Ubuntu 18.04, Bionic Beaver. And that is my commercial for tonight. Anselm is in the house. Hello, Anselm. Anselm, hello.
For the record, I just mentioned to Toss before the show that Ubuntu Mate announced that they will be foregoing 32-bit support and 1810. They will Ubuntu itself will keep it in the package repositories, but for Mate, they're going to be done in the next one. So if you need 32-bit, get it now. And I agree with you with pretty much everything you said. I mean, Mate has been really solid. I did load up. The one thing that I'm struggling with in the grub, I did a dual boot on here. I got my 64 gig little dongle drive.
Yeah.
I have the SSD, which has Peppermint, and then I've got Windows on or whatever. But that laptop, the test laptop, they won't. I tried to rename or label the file so that when they show up in the grub, I know which one was which, and it won't let me do that. It keeps showing Ubuntu 1804. Yeah. You know, for both of them. So I have to pay attention to which, you know, partitions I put it on if I want to boot them. But, you know, Kubuntu is really, 1804 is beautiful, but
yes,
there is a lot to that. I mean, if you want something that's really,
it's packed,
customized, it's packed with a ton
yeah, somebody mentioned in the chat. Yes. Yeah. You could take a look at that as a newbie. I normally would say read the documentation, but I heard it sucks in Ubuntu. Yeah. That's what I've heard. I haven't looking at it, but I'll trust what my friends say. It sucks. So Ubuntu Mate and standard Ubuntu documentation is superb.
Yes.
From what I've read. And I was an English major, so you can take that to the bank, as it were. Yeah.
One thing I want to mention on the upgrade path, you mentioned your upgrade went smooth and you've never had a problem with them. I've upgraded a lot of Ubuntu installs, you know, over the years, and I've only had, I think, 2 go bad on me. Both of them were from the same issue. Don't lose power during the upgrade. So if you guys are doing this on a laptop, plug that thing in. So
excellent. And normally it will remind you on the laptop. Yeah. It's you can. Now I've done upgrades on laptops that has a full charge, which I know I could get at least 2 or 3 hours on the battery, and I let it go. But that's not the best way. Don't do what I do.
Because some people, you know, it'll be like a 2,000 package upgrade. You're thinking it's going to take an hour, hour and a half. You're going to step away from your machine. And if you didn't have it plugged in, you're going to come back. It's going to be dead, and it's not going to boot up right for you.
Right. Yeah,
and
you don't.
Mate did put in the software updater yesterday. I saw it pop up for the upgrade if people wanted it. It came out yesterday, at least on mine. So.
Yeah. I mean, if that happens, it is fixable, but you'll be doing a few terminal commands in the terminal, and I can't recommend that for beginners.
And as far as the 32-bit ISO, that's good news. Mainline Ubuntu dropped the 32-bit version because nobody's going to run the GNOME desktop environment on 10 or 15-year-old machines. There's no point in supporting that. And with Mate and Budgie, they're doing that too. The same reason. Ubuntu's still going to have their 32-bit ISO. You can
that's right, because I got a ThinkPad to my right that you can't see that I brought it out of the I've resurrected this one with Linux Mint XFCE because I think you can run that, and this only has 768 megabytes of RAM. I do need to put more, but just to tell you that I know less than a gig of RAM running Linux, modern Linux. Yeah. I'm telling you guys, newbies, you can resurrect. And I was gonna salvage this, pick it for parts, but you know what? It still works. It's a ThinkPad.
If you can get it installed, Ubuntu will run on 5.12.
Yeah.
Now, some of the programs you try to launch, like Firefox, they won't run. But.
No. I mean, I have Firefox and Chat up, and it's okay. Yeah. But to run more with less than a gig, not going to pop. I think this will handle 4 gigs. 4 gigs will be plenty. Yeah. 2 gigs will be plenty. But the power of Linux, I couldn't do Windows 10 in this.
No way.
No. Now, if I put a 2 gig chip RAM, yeah, probably. But you're better off with Linux. So this one here, because it still works. Now this is broken. The battery clip, like at the bottom, is like a battery clip. When you pop in the bed, it's like a clip, but that broke. So I got it running off AC power, and I took out the CD drive and popped in the spare battery in there, which is pretty cool for a ThinkPad, for an older ThinkPad. But that's the power of Linux. Someone had a question before I forget.
Shamim, he was talking about he was having trouble with his Wi-Fi going. I think he's talking about Mate, but I know there are some terminal commands that could be done to get them going sometimes too. But one of the ways he might want to check it is run a live CD or a live a flash drive or something to see, and if he can get it working that way, then it may very well be a hardware issue. Sometimes, believe it or not, people forget on their own machines that there's keyboard turn-offs and turn-ons, or there's a switch,
like my ThinkPad,
Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Sure.
And if it works, with, let's say you had Windows on it, was working, then you put Linux on it, it doesn't. That still doesn't mean it might be a hardware setting, because sometimes it might be switched off by default or whatever. So I don't know if that'll help answer his question. Unless, Derek, are you aware of the keyboard?
I'm not. Yeah.
I thought there was something in the Ubuntu community, the Mate community, that had something in there about it too that he could look up. But
Steven, your NVIDIA tears only on video, not in games. I got to tell you, Linux there's one thing that Linux struggles with, and I'm not blaming any developer or any distro in particular, is multimedia and graphics drivers. Yeah, that's a hit and miss. I got AMD.
Graphics drivers and Wi-Fi drivers are still a problem. It just is.
I don't know if it's Wi-Fi drivers as a whole. It's just Broadcom drivers.
Broadcom, they're the ones that.
Yes.
And that's what he's got. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's what a lot of lower end ones have.
That's what most people have. Yeah.
Well, worst comes to worst, he could get himself and if he doesn't want something sticking out of the machine, he could have a low-profile wireless dongle.
Yeah, you can get a dongle.
There's some pretty powerful ones out there that'll serve just as well, and that'll solve his problem.
That's a bigger one, really, I mean, if depending on the distro, if you're running anything Ubuntu-based, you should just be able to plug this guy in. It'll work.
Yes.
Plug this in. Go into your software. There's a drivers section in Ubuntu Mate.
Yeah.
Click that button and let it find the drivers for your Broadcom. It should work every time.
Yep. They're pretty cheap too.
Yeah. Right. I've had pretty good luck with it. It's normally, although with these machines I have now, graphics haven't been an issue. I can't install proprietary drivers, or if I try to, they don't work. They don't work as well as the Zorg. But you know what? It works. I'm happy. And I don't do a lot of gaming in Linux, mainly in Windows. But graphics, Wi-Fi, printers, although not as much printers. If you buy the right printer, I have an HP. Plays very nice with Linux and Epson, but generally speaking today, number one issue still with Linux that's hit and miss is graphics or multimedia applications.
Not just video, audio is a problem too. Pulse audio can still be a mess sometimes.
Yes, that is true.
And I think the drivers, you're right about with proprietary, but I think it's more the dedicated video is going to be affected more than the dedicated card probably with those.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at my laptop by ThinkPad. This one had Windows XP. I think it's a single core. I'm impressed, really. You talk about Fred Flintstone, yabba dabba doo, but it's running okay. Now, I don't have multiple applications up, but this is running okay with.
What are you running on?
This is a ThinkPad. Look it up. It's a ThinkPad R40. With Linux Mint XFCE. Look good up, Joe. ThinkPad R40. You talk about a dinosaur. I think Godzilla wasn't even born then when this came out.
You know what you could
Hi, Colin.
How are you, Tom? Hey, Tom.
Greetings, Colin. How are you?
Run Puppy on it in the memory, and then there you go.
Yeah. But I'm going to pop a 2 gig RAM chip in this, and I'll be fine. This will be like my little laptop to put in the garage when I'm cleaning the car, stream music. But this runs with 768 megs of RAM, and right now with Firefox it's using about 500 megabytes. Not bad. Now if I open up any more windows, it may go God, it's choking, But
you don't want to know what I'm doing right now on my computer. I'm uploading videos, rendering with Kden Live, and streaming this at the same time.
Well, less than a gig of RAM. A miracle.
Less than a gig.
A miracle.
I'm running 4.3 gigs right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have 12 cores in this system. Most of the CPUs are at 75 or 80%.
Right, yeah. Now, if you're going to do that, obviously, but just a laptop to play around with, this is fine. But that's the power. Again, for beginners, that's the power of Linux. You have choices.
Yeah.
And it may or may not work for you. But I will say this. ThinkPads and Linux play nice. Lenovo's, that Toshiba, even though it broke, plays very nice.
Yeah, I have a Toshiba satellite that Linux just works on. So
yeah, you know what? I've been complaining because I've had 3 monitors go bad. It's usually for some people, maybe one monitor or something else go bad. But that's what I've been moaning about. But all in all, for an 8 year, maybe that machine's maybe 10 years, I really can't complain. The fact that it was a monitor ticked me off because it's the 3rd monitor. But Toshiba, if you're watching, you're okay in my book, Toshiba. Don't call Sicily. Please don't. Okay.
I found the specs on it, by the way, if you want to get a giggle out of this thing.
Sure, go ahead, man.
Okay. Well, first of all, the price was, in 2003, January 28, 2003, $1,249.
Sounds about right.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was an Intel Pentium 4-M 1.9 gigahertz CPU. The bus was only 400 megahertz. It came installed 128 megabytes of RAM with a 1 gig max. So you don't try to put a 2 because it won't work. So you can only do 1 gig.
Okay.
Let me see. It has a CD-ROM, of course, and the rest. The rest is kind of details. But oh my god! And then it weighs anywhere from 6 to 7.5 pounds. And those aren't really big in size.
Yeah.
They're like dense weight. Yeah.
Well, I mean, hang on. Let me unplug it. I'll show you.
Yeah.
Here it is. Here we go.
20 gigabyte capacity too for a hard drive.
It doesn't. It doesn't have now the battery in the back. You see where the battery goes, or if you can see it right, it's kind of dark. But the clip broke, right there. See that?
Yeah.
Right there. The clip broke, so the battery doesn't stay. So I pulled out the CD drive. It popped in the battery in the CD drive. Thank you, ThinkPad. Smart.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's the power of Linux. It works. There's the chat there. There's a keyboard. Nice keyboard feel. It's got that red track. I call it the red track, but it's called the track point in the middle.
Yeah.
Which is very precise. But you know what? I resurrected this. Now the RAM's a little low. I'll pop it. I have a 1 gig chip somewhere, which will help it.
20 gig drive in it.
This has a 30 gig drive.
Okay.
Hard drive. Ooh.
Living large.
Yeah, but you know what? ThinkPads. So if you want to try Linux, buy refurbished. It's a better deal. This was a refurb.
Interesting enough, too, I had sold one that was about that generation, and it was an over-the-road trucker. I put it on Craigslist. He loves them. He said, if you get any more of them, I put an SSD in it.
Yeah.
And I upgraded the RAM a little bit, and I put Linux on it. And he was happy as can be, and that thing ran really well.
These are like the Toyotas of laptops or Lexus. I mean, this came out when this came out in 04, 05? 03. So this is probably at least 03, maybe 04. Now do the math. How many years? And it still works. I can do once I bump up there. I can do anything on. Well, I can't render. I could render video.
No, not on one core.
Yeah. It would take a while. Yeah, I mean, I could to do.
Can you imagine something CPU intensive? Installing Gen 2 would probably take a month.
Yeah, I don't think I want to render. Maybe I could Maybe I could try to experiment live stream with a gig of RAM. Is it possible with OBS, Tom? We can refute Brian Lunduke again.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say it's probably not gonna work.
No, not without some kind of dedicated graphics card.
It's got an API mobility Radeon graphics card, so it's got an AMD graphics card in it too.
I'm going to have to try going on Google Hangouts just to see if it'll work, but I have to put in more RAM, obviously.
I have an Asus
over one.
I've got an Asus Dinosaur over there. It's running MX. MX Linux runs really well on the old ones.
Okay. But I'm impressed how smooth this is running just with the chat. Anyway.
I should throw Puppy on a CD drive and see if I can see how well it works on the old Windows 98 laptop I have in the room.
I bet it'll work just fine, Tom.
Yeah, Puppy should work.
I did sell one to a guy that I put Puppy on it because it had no hard drive in it, and it ran in the RAM, and it was probably about that old.
I actually tried to install Peppermint on this, but it came up not a kernel panic, but a warning. It's a non-PAE. Physical allocation, I forget what.
Right. Extension, I think it is.
And I'm like, really, Peppermint? I still love you guys. I still love you guys. Yeah.
This is not looking like Ubuntu Mate.
But Linux Mint still supports. I had to drop down, use forced PAE install, I think it's called, or something like that. And it worked. Now sorry, PAE, right. Now, it did come up with the warning, but it seems to work. I don't recommend it. Look, if you're going to buy a refurbished laptop, buy a 64-bit, okay? Folks, newbies. But I got this to work. I was just going to put it in storage but I got it working. Now that I have some extra RAM I could put in there. Joe, this will just do a gig of RAM? You read the R? Is that all? That sucks.
Well, that's according to CNET site, and I could do a further search and see if any of them other ones show up, but it sounds pretty much like the unit you're describing anyway.
I'll have to search for the serial number, see, because some of these may take a little more, but maybe a gig might be enough for what I do on this, just to like stream music or whatever and check the chat.
1 gig.
Gig probably sounds about right, because from that generation, 32-bit processors, they couldn't take any more than that, really.
Yeah.
A lot of Windows XP machines, when you bought those, most of those were 512 megabytes. Most of those weren't even a gig. So
this has 2 slots, so I'm hoping it can take max out of 2 gigs. But I'll check the serial number on it and run it through. But just to stream music and check the chat, probably a gig should be fine, even if I got multiple windows open. But the point I'm making you can resurrect a dinosaur with Linux. Some Linux, not all of it, not all Linux. I wouldn't put GNOME on this, but.
And Tom can get that 20-year-old machine running Puppy. Get the 32-bit ISO for Puppy, Tom. Joe's window manager, their default window manager, takes like 120 megs of memory. I mean, that's real.
Let me go look for Puppy.
Yeah.
Actually,
I may as well burn a CD and download.
Puppy is good. Else, right? There's one called TinyCore Linux.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. And do they make DSL Linux, damn small Linux?
Damn small Linux is damn dead. They haven't released in years.
Okay. But Okay,
so Puppy, or what was the other one that was that small? TinyCore.
TinyCore, yeah.
TinyCore. When you look at the system specs for both of those.
Let me see if I can pop up another window here before it freezes. Fat Elvis says SleeTaz. I'm not familiar with SleeTaz.
One of the other Ubuntu's is dropping support for 32-bit too, isn't it? Is it Mate?
Mate.
Yeah.
Mate and Budgie.
Kind of disappointed about Mate, but I can certainly understand that. Look, you could try Ubuntu LXLE. I think has support. PC Linux OS has support for 32-bit.
If you had a need to run Mate on a 32-bit Ubuntu, you still can. You would have to grab the 32-bit version of Ubuntu server and then install all the Mate packages on that.
Yes.
Well, I think
wouldn't it be security issues again though if they stop supporting it?
Yes, that's my guess.
Right. Yeah, and the thing is don't you think that like everything else that's being forked, that somebody will fork something and keep? I mean, there's so many distros out there.
Right? Yeah.
But like I said,
never stops.
32. If you're going to buy a refurb, get a 64-bit now because they're probably, When
I was recommending computers refurb for $200, I meant 64-bit, obviously.
Yeah.
But Alan Pope, when I did the interview last month, he bought a ThinkPad for like €60, which is really cheap. I'm assuming it's not a quad core. He says it just had 2 gigs of RAM, but RAM is fairly cheap if you know how to put it in. But I was saying $200, buy a machine 64-bit with 4 gig pre-install. So for a newbie, you ain't got to mess with how do I do install the RAM or whatever. 3 of my machines have been refurbished and they've lasted pretty much, except for that one that broke the monitor. Look, this one's got a broken battery compartment. My other ThinkPad's cracked on the side. I'm telling you, man, they're like Toyotas. They just keep on going, Someone you popped in the chat. Mugen, M-U-G-E-N. Welcome. Mugen.
Welcome, Mugen.
If it's your first time, welcome everybody. Please say hello to Mugen. Mugen, what do you use, if I may ask? So this is still running. I got 2 windows open. I probably don't want to do any more. It's almost maxing out the RAM, but anyway.
I love it when people ask me what is my preferred distro. It's whatever I'm running this week.
You
happen to be on.
But yeah, this is running pretty good. So I'll maybe tomorrow pop in the other RAM chip and.
Well, I'm really liking Ubuntu 18.04, I must say, the GNOME desktop. I just really like that. I think it's good.
That was my favorite out of the bunch, was the GNOME desktop. I thought I would like Budgie more, but honestly, their version of GNOME was really nice.
Yeah, the Budgie I like too. I'm sort of torn between both of them, actually, but I'll put one on one and one on the other, I think. But
mainline Ubuntu was so polished, so professional looking. I mean, it looks,
I agree.
You could sell that in a store. You could put that on a laptop.
You really could. They've done a terrific job. I just wish it was a little bit faster, zippier.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future, as Alan Pope said, things will get better, and it will. But it was polished. I should have just kept it in there. I started messing with trying to put in Peppermint, and then the monitor ran out. But it's good. Ubuntu GNOME, it's good. Still not my favorite desktop environment, at least not yet. But it's pretty solid. There's a lot of distros out there. Peppermint, Ubuntu, Linux Lite that offer 32 LXLE, Bodhi, Anti. I don't know about the PAE thing, compatibility, but I guess check the website. Peppermint, I could not get Peppermint installed on this. But Linux Smith, thank you. I was able to get this installed on a non-PAE machine, so. Antics. Somebody mentioned Antics. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you just hit pretty much all the Debian-based distros that still offer a 32.
Crunchbang. Are they still around?
No, they're dead. Crunchbang Plus is a fork of them.
Okay.
They're still around.
There's an Archbang, isn't there? Isn't there an Archbang? I think there is.
Archbang, if you want to do Arch-based with OpenBox, yeah.
Okay. Bodhi Linux.
Yeah.
Does that use OpenBox?
No, they use Enlightenment.
Ah, that's it.
It's another really light window manager.
That's fast. I think I've tried. That's really fast.
Enlightenment. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I just can't. That Enlightenment's so much different to everything else. I struggle with workflow on that because everything's so different. I suppose if I gave it time, I would probably like it. But
you're right. It is very different than any other window manager you probably ever used. Yeah.
Anthony De La Rosa. Hello, another Paisan. Hey, I think that's Paisan Italian. I don't know. If it's your first time to the stream, welcome everybody. Please say hello to Anthony De La Rosa.
G'day, Anthony.
Hello, Anthony.
Hello, Anthony.
Hello, Anthony. How are you?
And Anthony, if I may ask, what computer system do you use? Linux do you use? If you even use Linux. If you don't, that's okay.
He may just came for the meatballs.
I know. This is the Mate and Meatballs stream.
Linux 32. Let's see what
We haven't even talked about Star Trek yet.
I finished my wine, my red wine. Star Trek's coming up. I guess they renewed. Yeah, welcome, Anthony. Everybody say hello. Come on, say hello to Anthony.
Anthony.
Hey, Tony. Hey.
Pasta.
Anthony's probably going, you guys are sickos. I'm out of here. No. Anthony says, first time. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining. No, I think they renewed Star Trek for a second. The Star Trek Discovery.
Mm-hmm.
The first season kind of growed on me a little bit, yeah. But not bad. Q1.
It was all downhill after Deep Space Nine. I really didn't like Voyager that much.
When they got 7 of 9 on,
She was the most interesting character on that season.
I would have given her a 10 out of 10 of 9. Yeah. But anyway, what's her name? Jerry Ryan.
Yeah.
She called her assets. It's a family. She called her assets the girls. The girls. It was an interview. I know, really. It's the girls. YouTube. Oh my! Total Omega says that. Yeah, this is not on my Teespring channel. I mean shop, but it's a polo shirt. I came. I went to a high school banquet tonight, graduation. So I thought I would break out the polo shirt, and it still fits after 18 years. I'm proud of myself. I kept the weight down. But yeah, thank you. Maybe I should post this on I don't think they sell polo shirts on Teespring though. Yeah. I don't think you want to spend $50 for a shirt. Yeah, $50. But yeah, go ahead.
Tom, what are you
What's up?
What's he doing? What's Tom doing?
I'm running Puppy Linux on a Toshiba designed for Windows 98.
Oh, Toshiba. Oh, okay.
Okay, Anthony, you have Mint and Deepin CPU driver. Mint is excellent. Deepin I didn't care for. I think Deepin is deep full of it.
I have unable to boot. Please use a kernel appropriate for your CPU.
Oh, there you go.
They're PAE.
How did you run it?
Panic.
Tom, how did you run it?
What's that?
Are you trying to run it from the CD?
Yeah, well, I just, you know what I need to do is I need to reboot it. And
load it up into the RAM. Because I had that same error, and then you got to load it up into the RAM. You should be fine.
All right, let me go.
Anthony, which version of Mint? Mate XFCE, Ubuntu, what am I missing? Cinnamon. There's even a Debian version, which I don't really recommend for beginners. But Anthony, which version, if I may ask? I'm running XFCE on my ThinkPad here.
You got to be careful when you get a.
Yeah, go ahead.
Be careful when you get a kernel panic because you can end up with popcorn.
Well, hey, what version of Puppy are you running?
I downloaded
Xenial.
Yeah. I grabbed 7.5 Xenial.
Oh, 7. Gee.
Yeah, and believe it or not, that may or may not be too new. Let me look. I still, believe it or not, have my discs. I'll look in the cabinet real quick. I'll be right back.
I have Xenial Puppy. I have File Check. Xenial with no save file, without graphical interface, and for machines with severe video problems. Let's try that.
Yeah, I was for people coming in late yesterday. I was trying to install Peppermint, and I got a kernel panic, which hasn't happened in years.
Since this kernel requires the following features not present on this CPU: CMOV.
Never heard of that one before.
I haven't either.
So when you get a kernel panic, you call 911, and the Windows 10 ambulance comes to the house, and you're good to go.
Sounds like he's going to have to compile a kernel.
Or just grab an old version.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be easier.
What about, there's also a Slackware.
Thank you, Spa. Thank you for the super chat. Spa De Silva. Thank you, sir. I think it's a sir. Thank you.
Yeah, you ought to just check their archives and see if they have one based on maybe an older Ubuntu, maybe 1404 or 1204. You know, go back a little bit.
32 bits. 64-bit disk. I haven't written any in a long time, but this is what's still laying around.
Hey man, 32-bit rocks. Yeah.
Look at, talk about burning discs. I mean, look at how many.
Oh, when I first started, I had a collection, man.
I've still got mine. I've still got all mine. I've got
a minimal in here for Ubuntu. Did you know that from years ago?
I think I kept the original disc that somebody sent me about more than 10 years ago. I think it was Knoppix and Red Hat. Got them there somewhere.
God, Pin Guy, Robo Linux 8.1.
God, that brings back memories. That's how I got to 2000 video. I think half of those were freaking distro hopping, but
Peppermint 6.
Has anybody still got floppy disks? Does anybody keep floppy disks? Because I've got a heap there.
I got floppy disks from college way back. Yeah.
Do you want to know stuff? Those are worth money right now. If you have new ones, you can sell them for about $35 on eBay. And what they're doing with a lot of them too is they're taking SD cards. You know, on the floppies, how they have the metal slide over cover, and that opens up when you insert it. You actually can put an SD card in there underneath that, and then you actually use the floppy to run the SD card.
Right.
Ciao, Spada Silva. Ragazzi. He said ciao, children. I think that's children in Italian. Spa, which part of Italy I'm assuming you're in Italy. Which part are you from, if I may ask you? Spada Silva. My dad lives in Calabria. And have you heard about a movie called The Cross and the Star on any of the news network? That's my dad's movie he's been trying to sell. Just out of curiosity, assuming that you're in Italy. I'm looking at my ticker feed, news feeder here. Boy, I'm so good I got this running, Ubuntu Mate. One of the tips I wanted to give you if you are running Ubuntu Mate is if you have an issue with one or two of your apps, go into the Mate tweak tool. And you should be able to, at least for me it worked, to get one of my favorite apps, Ticker, Tickr, running in Linux. And it's free for Windows also, by the way.
I had to file a bug with Ubuntu Mate because on my laptop, I keep getting panels disappearing and all sorts of problems when changing the layout. So
yeah, I do a couple of those. I get like 2 panels and nothing on the panels. They're like blank. Somebody mentioned if I had done a fresh install, that would avoid it. I mean, it's no big deal. I just use one or 2 panels anyway. You know,
fresh install doesn't work for me, but if you go to the traditional layout and then go back to Mutiny, it's okay. But I've been getting, I have a feeling it's something to do with the graphics driver here, which is a NVIDIA.
Yeah,
I think it's an NVIDIA graphics driver problem. Although I'm not running it, the fact that it's there is causing the problem, I believe.
You may be able to fix it with using the CCSM, the Compass Configuration Setting Manager, but be careful using that. I think there was 4 options. In fact, hang on, let me go to the tweak tool. I forget which one I did. Alright, so you go Mate tweak tool, and let me see here. I don't need that screen anymore. Get out of that.
I thought you said either with Compositor or Compass. One of those two is what I thought.
All right, so you scroll and you have a desktop panel. Go to Windows. Scroll down to Window Manager. It was Compass, Advanced GPU Accelerated Graphics Effects. That fixed it for me. It was kind of surprising. Yeah, I thought it would have been the first one, but
never thought of doing that, to be honest. But I might
try it. It was just one of those things. You know what? The tweak tool is there for a reason, not just for changing the panel. Yeah. And I fixed it. I was able to get the Ticker app running. It's more. Okay, I think it sucks more resources, so I think it would not work. But
okay, that's interesting. I might try that because I've been updating my bug for every. Because what happened was I was running legacy. It was worse than legacy. So now I've gone to UEFI, which I don't. This is always troublesome, but it looks like UEFI is caught up these days. So I redid everything, and everything's running under UEFI. Now it's better, but it still has issues. I'm getting double apps up on the top panel as well. So those sorts of things are happening. So hopefully, I might try that. What Toss just said, that sounds interesting. Give that a go.
The Toss leave? Okay.
Yeah, he must have went. Okay. Maybe.
Sorry, just stepped away for a second.
Well,
that's all right.
I grabbed my Toshiba. This is the one that the satellite. But
yeah, so mine's on the satellite too. My problem is on a satellite.
Is it?
Yeah.
And it has the Harman Kardon speakers. You can see there, the top, left, and right. They sound terrific. Now, and they got the soft key touches for the media applications. Is really handy. Yeah. I don't know if Toshiba still makes these with the higher end speakers. I should check, but this is really, well, it was a nice laptop, and the tactile, the touch on the keyboard just felt really good. Anyway, but I could hook it up to my TV, even though the screen is pretty much, shot. But I mean, the battery life is still good after all these years, still 2 hours after 8 years. I really can't complain that much. But yeah, those speakers really, I mean, most laptop speakers, they're freaking awful. Let's be honest, But
mine's got the Harman Kardon as well.
It does. Okay.
Particularly for Toshibas, which traditionally have the worst speakers I've ever heard on laptops.
Yeah, I don't have the Harman on mine. I've got a Toshiba satellite. And
no, it has to say Harman Kardon. If it doesn't say that, then they're all going to suck, in my opinion.
Mine's got it stamped in right next to the power button.
Yeah.
I bought like the cheapest Toshiba satellite on the market at the time when I bought this 3 years ago. I paid $325 for this thing.
Yeah, I think this one was probably I think it was over $500, maybe closer to $800 at the time.
For the speakers, no doubt.
Yeah, probably just for the speakers are $800. Yeah. No, but no, I'm honestly, my ThinkPads, as solid as they are, the speakers, nah, nah.
Tom, did you have any luck yet? Because I actually had a different place, not to go back to the sorry toss, but the puppy Linux, because I'm on a mission now. I had 5.5 and 5.71. One I listed as a new PC and old PC. I don't know what the difference was. So that was probably one of those two I used. So, I also had Slacko 5.7, but I'll tell you another one I had good luck with was the Vector Linux 7.0 Lite.
So Vector
7.0, but I think the one I ran with that was just in the RAM with no hard drive, I'm positive it was one of the puppy Linuxes, because Slacko is actually a puppy Linux too. It's 5.7, and then there was 5.71 actual puppy Linux, and then 5.5. So those are the three I have here.
Okay, I'll try one of those. I'm not going to try it right now, but I'll try one of those and see if I can get some luck on it.
Tom, do you use Mint KDE? Sorry, Tom, do you use Mint KDE? Anthony had a question.
Yes, I do.
I think the LTS, Anthony, KDE is okay through 2021. If you want to install that, right?
Question at?
He asked if it was okay without support. Well, obviously, if it expires, I'll use. But I think the one now is good to 2021, but they are dropping KDE.
Yeah, it should be fine as long as you keep your updates going. It should be fine until until then.
Yeah, that was the last one, 18.3, wasn't it? KDE.
So Anthony, that one now through 2021. If you don't want to mess with it, just go with the other one, Cinnamon, Mate, XFCE, or even Debian if you're more advanced.
I'm wondering how easy it is to just install KDE on top of it if you really like it. Because I installed Budgie on top of Linux.
I have done that with different desktop environments. It gets kind of wonky sometimes with the different apps.
Yeah.
But I have done that. Different desktop, then just log out, log in, choose a different. It can be done. I don't generally recommend it though for beginners. It might break something.
Yeah, not beginners, but that's actually how I have 3 desktop environments on my Debian computer.
Wow. Okay. I've never done more than 2.
Yeah.
But lately, I just stick with the one per machine. Yeah,
I never really bounced back and forth between them, but.
Interesting question. Somebody asked me on one of my videos the other day, after installing the minimal install, can you update that to a full install? Now, I think it would be a matter of, like if you're on Budgie, it would be apt install Budgie Ubuntu-desktop, wouldn't it be? I think.
I'm not sure.
To my understanding, the only difference is it doesn't have a lot of the stuff you normally add in there anyway. If you'd have to manually add it in, which would be your media players and the added software and stuff like that. I thought that was the difference.
It's only missing a handful of programs anyway. You'd just be better off sudo apt install. The LibreOffice suite is missing.
Now, I think the heart of the question for Colin was putting Budgie on it.
No, it is the Budgie desktop. It is the Budgie desktop, but the minimal install. But the person on YouTube asked me a question in chat, can I upgrade that to the full install instead of reinstalling the full install? So I don't know. I said I'll look around.
The minimal install just leaves up those applications.
Yeah, it just leaves out maybe a dozen programs. You can just type all 12 programs or whatever in the terminal, sudo apt install.
If you know what programs they are, though, right? So you don't know what's missing.
It tells you when you're loading it, And the minimal is
LibreOffice.
Usually they leave out the media players. They may give you one media player, to do both audio and video. But
it's a good question though, because if you are running the minimal install, you decide, maybe I'll just go with the full. So instead of reinstalling, can you just go sudo apt install something? Maybe Budgie Desktop Core or something like that. I don't know.
There's probably a meta package for it.
Meta package.
The reality of it is the minimal install still is the upgraded or the newer version. It's just delete some of the add-ons in it. So there's no real upgrading it, I wouldn't think. But I see what you're saying. If you could do one command to just drop all that stuff in.
That's right.
I'm not aware of anything like that.
Nah, either am I. I can't find anything either, so I'm not really sure. So it's a good question. I never give it a thought.
But I'm sure on all their wikis and the release note pages, it'll tell you exactly what programs they took out.
Yeah, maybe I'll look at that. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
Anthony, what's your specs on your laptop? You said you're limited with the choice. What are your specs? None of the Ubuntu 18.04 work for you? Oh, okay. What are the specs? Just out of curiosity. I mean, if you have a machine with just 2 gigs of RAM, I wouldn't use GNOME.
He said just Mint.
Yeah, he says, I'm limited with the choice of the distro with the laptop.
Maybe he's got 32-bit as he tossed, because most of them are...
I don't know, Anthony. Yeah, what are your specs, Anthony? Yeah, if you got 32-bit, that will definitely limit you, yeah. I'm looking at Distro Watch. I guess there's an Indonesian Debian-based... it's called Blankon.
Blankon, yep, I've used that before. It's interesting desktop, but I didn't realize it had come up to the point of going on Distro Watch. So that's interesting.
I just popped in now to Distro Watch. So should I talk like Indonesian? Please try Blankon. It's very good for you. No, I don't know.
I've actually had that distro requested. People have asked me to review it. I didn't know it was that popular either. So, but it's on Distro Watch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a couple of. I think it's got it's got like similar to Budgie panels, like the Budgie, what's the name at the sides? I think it's got 2 of them, one on each side. I think it had. Can't remember exactly.
Anthony has an Intel Celeron with quad. That's probably going to limit you a little bit. 8 gig of RAM is good. Okay, the RAM's good. You should be able to run even with that Ubuntu now with 8 gigs of RAM, can't you?
The RAM is fine.
Yeah, for sure. No problem.
Even the Celeron, he should be good with that.
You should be, Anthony, yeah. I'm assuming it's 64 gigabyte. If not, then obviously you can't run Ubuntu now because there is no 32 bit.
Well, 32 gig only allows 4 gig anyway. It's 32-bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. I thought it was 3, actually.
It
doesn't go full 4, but it does go 3 something, I think.
Yeah, it should have worked, Anthony, yeah. Anna Rita, Pin Guy is back, I guess. He has an alpha.
Yeah, it's on Distro Watch right now, too.
I just saw, yeah.
Blink on.
He's using the GNOME desktop still, okay.
Something interesting I noticed on Distro Watch is Manjaro is closing in on Linux Mint big time.
Wow.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, actually, having played around a lot with Manjaro in the last 6 months or so.
I remember a couple of summers ago, Spatry wanted me to take the Manjaro challenges of Windows, and he said, "Now be honest, Toss. Tell us, you know." So I did a full install. What's the standard? XFCE is the standard Manjaro.
Yeah, that's their main. Yeah.
I installed it. I used the Calamares installer. I think it went fine. I knew I was in trouble when I couldn't play music CDs.
You didn't
Now,
add
Spatry
your
says-
user to the audio
Okay.
group.
Now, Spatry says, well, who plays music CDs? I said, but that's not the point, is it? You wanted my honest opinion. Anyway, I got it to work, but a newbie's not going to be able to figure that out. But I did not give up. I promised him I'll give him my true Windows mind attitude on it. All right, so I got that working. It's fine. But then as time went on, little things like I enabled the AUR, Arch User Repository, right? And of course, the pop-up, warning, this might be dangerous. Now, if you're a newbie, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to break the system. Right? So I got it working. So I did a follow-up. I think Spatchy made me laugh, but I did a follow-up. Okay, folks, this is day 2 or week 2 of Manjaro. Now, I enabled the AUR, but I have to warn you, if you enable it, a warning comes up that it's dangerous. But luckily for me, and I went down, luckily for me, I have my fire extinguisher just in case my computer blows up. So I posted it. Spatchy replies, you do not need a fire extinguisher to use Manjaro.
Might.
Oh, God. But to make a long story short on Manjaro, bugs left and right. I couldn't update the repositories. It slowed. I mean, it was one. I lost patience. So I no longer use Manjaro.
Every week I was thinking Toss is going to pull the pin this week. Maybe it's next week.
I think my video was I fought the bugs and the bugs won. That was an old song. I fought the law and I fought the bug. Believe me, I tried, but at some point, you know what? And he wanted my honest opinion. I gave it. It worked great in the beginning, but the little things added up. And I said, I can't recommend this to a newbie. I just can't do it.
There have been some discussions in the Arch community about that warning of enabling the AUR. They
That's
should get
funny.
rid of that. Because everybody uses the AUR. Every single Arch user enables it. So.
Or have a separate paragraph. If you are a beginner, we recommend you turn it off. Don't say, this is dangerous. Please don't use this. I'm like, what the hell, man? You know.
It's one of those things where most things are probably okay, but there may be something that you install from there that could break your system, and then people would be saying, you got to give us a warning.
Yeah, but you can install stuff from the main Arch repos that will break your system. So
true. That's very true.
Getting back to the distro watch thing, the reason it doesn't surprise me though is Manjaro kind of makes sense to me. Mint does not, as far as what is the purpose of Mint. You know, how does it distinguish itself from all the Ubuntu's and Elementary and these other user-friendly Debian-based distros, where Manjaro really makes Arch kind of a user-friendly distro.
It does.
Well, Mint works out of the box, and I like their release when ready, not on a specific date. So I still recommend Mint, you know, for beginners. Maybe not for advanced users. Obviously, you have choices. But nowadays, because Mint over the years has been pretty solid, I can recommend them for beginners. Now, if you're advanced user, it may be one of those bland distros, for lack of a better term. But I give them credit. They only release when ready.
And I wouldn't recommend Manjaro for a brand new user.
No. Between the two, Mint first, absolutely,
Absolutely,
Manjaro needs a community guinea pig. That's what they need. So you got your community guinea pig that says, yep, updates are fine, go ahead.
Oh, my ThinkPad froze. Oh, there we go. It just popped up again. Okay. Anyway, Anthony says it freezes watching a YouTube video. With 8 gigs of RAM, really? Well, that's with GNOME, though. Okay.
Must be in Australia. It must be in Australia.
But Mint recognizes the processor. Does not matter how much. Okay. Well, yeah, 1.8 gigahertz, but still, 8 gigs of RAM.
Watching video. Yeah, he may be having some hardware issues. I mean, he
might be. But he said Mint is okay. He says Mint recognizes the processor, and it does not matter how much I use. Does not freeze. Okay, it could be just a matter of hardware software compatibility. Use what works. If you're happy with Mint, Anthony, 8 gigs of RAM is plenty. With most Linux distros, 4 gigs is plenty. 2 gigs is plenty. Just not GNOME with 2 gigs.
Which distro was freezing on him? Which one?
Ubuntu GNOME, Anthony, right? Is that the one that was freezing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, even with my machine with 4 gigs of RAM, Ubuntu was not as zippy.
if I'm running off of a USB key, you know, every few minutes I'll get a little hiccup if I'm playing video.
Okay.
That's not too uncommon.
That's why I'm starting to beg to differ a little bit though on the 4 gigs, because these newer distros now are getting heavier.
They are.
I think recommends at least 3 or more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything with GNOME takes a ton.
It is pushing it with 4 gigs, but normally I would say what Mint, even Manjaro, Ubuntu Mate, you know, Linux Lite, 4 gigs for the most part, I think should be enough, right?
Yeah, it's really the desktop environments. GNOME and Cinnamon.
I'm running 5.5 right now on Mint, and
I'll tell you what,
that's this and everything else.
What Anthony should do is, if he wants to run Ubuntu, tell him to install like GNOME MPV or MPV, because I've never had any luck with the videos player on Ubuntu itself, because that's based on Totem, and that thing for me just never works. Tell him to install GNOME MPV. He should have better luck with that.
Solus freezes, Anthony? Interesting. I thought Solus. Don't they have a light version? And that freezes too.
Arco Linux freezes, and that is very lightweight. Yeah, he may be having some problems with his machine.
Maybe
you may be having hard drive issues, possibly. I don't know.
That's what it sounds like to me. Because, like I said, you know, I get a similar thing if I'm running pretty much any distro off of a USB key. I'll get the little hiccups every now and again.
Anthony, run the utility to check your hard drive. Is it disk to see if it's going bad? They can run the test. Is it disk, guys?
Yeah, if you use disks.
Yeah, try that. Make sure, because it can test the hard drive just to see if it's fine. Great. But Anthony, I'm running. I got an old ThinkPad to my right, a Linux Mint XFCE with less than 1 gig of RAM, and right now with 2 windows open, it's running about 500 megabytes total, which is pretty good. If you want something lighter weight, but 8 gigs, this should be fine.
8 gigs with a quad-core Celeron should run everything he just.
It should.
Maybe the GNOME distros, maybe they would be sluggish, but everything else should have just run like a challenge.
I think you said it's quad-core, right? Yeah, it should. You might have that might be a warning, Anthony, that the hard. But run the utility disks, and it'll test it for you.
Is he running from USB or is it actually installed?
I think, Anthony, you installed it, right? Let us know here.
Well, obviously, if he's running it from USB, it won't be a hard drive. So
that's true.
Yeah, but it would explain the hiccup though.
Right.
Crystal disk. I'm not familiar, Mark, with crystal disk. What is that, Mark?
Crystal disk Mark, it's called. It's basically a benchmarker.
Okay, got it.
Tester,
Does not support Linux. Got it. Okay. Yeah, just run disk utility in Linux. Full install, he says. Okay. All right.
A full install, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to step away for a second.
Yeah, go ahead. I think I'm going to have to get me a snack. All this chatting's making me hungry.
Yeah.
There we go. Come to think of it, I didn't really eat that much at the high school banquet. Yeah.
Come to think of it, I haven't had dinner at all tonight. So you're making me hungry.
Jeez. Well, let me send you a virtual granola bar here. Hang on a second.
Maybe I should go make those chips.
Yeah. Well, I've got chips in the other room, but I don't want to be crunching.
Yeah, that's a downside. Wow. All right. So it's what, 3 of us left, right? I guess one of us should say something. Huh?
Well, the thing. Okay, what's he right now?
Okay,
if it's not RAM.
It's not RAM. It's the processor reaches 100, freezes with Mint. It reaches 100, goes back and forth, and stays normal and fluctuates that way.
Wow.
The RAM. It is the processor. So something's ramping the processor up to 100% with Mint. Go load up the system. Like the system monitor, and see what applications are running in there.
Yeah. There's
Mint shouldn't do that. Like Windows 10 does that, but Mint shouldn't do that.
Well, you know, the other thing too. This is going to sound bizarre, and I don't think it's this, but Linux is not impervious to a virus either. I mean, you know, if by some fluke he had a virus, that could do something too. But I still think he's got something hanky going on there. And if his hard drive, Anthony, is your hard drive make any noise? And I'm not talking about the normal just writing noise? Does it sound like it's got any kind of whining going to it, or excess clicking, or the writing that you do hear? Does it sound different than it used to?
Yeah, and Mark Yates says it sounds like an app is causing a memory leak.
Yeah.
So what applications are running? What, Joe?
Well, Gnome had that memory leak too, but he said he had more than one. But if they're all Gnome based, maybe that's part of that memory leak issue too.
Well, he said he was running Solus. That's budgie. Arco Linux almost certainly would be XFCE if he was running that.
Yeah.
So,
how old is the machine? Did he say? Anthony, how old is your machine?
Interceptor's saying, what was he saying? You can have a 16 gig of RAM and still have issues because the Celeron not being able to keep up, especially if it's not an SSD.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's doing something that is really CPU intensive, but if he's just doing normal like desktop stuff, like he's trying to play a video in VLC.
He's doing that on YouTube. Try going into the YouTube settings and turn the video quality down to 720p. That would reduce the load. See if that works. CFW, anyone play Truck Simulator on Linux? Doesn't English Bob do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, English Bob's channel. Check his out.
So if he wants to install disks, just make sure, Anthony, you know it's called GNOME-disk-utility, because that one can be hard for people to find.
Anthony, check your startup apps. Maybe you have a bunch running at the same time. Might slow you down. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Mark says it looks like it's probably a memory leak, so with an extra application or something.
I think I had too many apps open, or windows, I should say.
But he says
you started answering something about American Truck Simulator. What were you asking? I'm sorry, that's when I dropped out.
Yeah, I dropped too. That was weird.
Yeah, somebody asked if there's anybody that plays it on Linux.
Yeah, I'm just responding to that now.
Okay, good.
English Bob.
I do, and I have good luck with it on mine. I play it on this very machine, actually.
So, Anthony, apparently the only thing that works on your machine is Mint. Hey, if it works fine the way you want it,
why
then
run it?
yeah. Why? If it ain't broken, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, recently I went through this with my machine here. I installed about 10 different distros over the last couple of months, trying to fix stuff, and I finally came to the conclusion my graphics card was a problem. So sometimes, it's not necessarily distro related or software related. Sometimes when you discount every other thing you've tried, you're left with the hardware itself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one other thing we haven't asked him, what about his BIOS settings too? Because there might be something in the BIOS too, or firmware issue or whatever.
So Mint's the only one that works. Anthony, I'm just wondering, what is he using? Cinnamon or Mate? I just wonder. Or XFCE?
Anthony, yeah, which version are you using?
Yeah.
I'm using XFCE on this machine here that has a Celeron. I think it has Celeron. Yeah.
And it's kind of a low-end, low-spec machine. Mm-hmm. If it was running Cinnamon, I would think it would run pretty bad, actually. So
yeah.
Because I'm just wondering if we know what desktop he's using, maybe he should use the same desktop on Ubuntu flavor or something. Maybe it's the desktop that works.
Yeah, Lamer linked to English.
He says Cinnamon. Cinnamon, okay.
He's using Cinnamon, so that's interesting. So Cinnamon's working and nothing else.
Try Manjaro Cinnamon, because Manjaro has a Cinnamon build.
English Bob definitely loves his trucks.
That's one of the things I found is that the Cinnamon desktop seems to be very stable for a lot of things that I do. I ran into that issue with my backup system, I used to run the Ubuntu Mate on there. There were a few bugs with particular like DB in things couldn't get to work, and it ends up being a Mate issue. It's not an Ubuntu issue at all.
Cinnamon's good. I have it on my other ThinkPad, the one that I haven't broken yet. But yeah, no, it's pretty good.
Cinnamon is coming.
Michael was the one that kind of almost pushed me, because I was running Linux Mate for a long time, and then I screwed around with the kernels, and I wound up messing it up, and I said, well, let me go back to Mate. But the other thing that pushed me back to Mate too, Ubuntu Mate, was Michael. I remember on one of the Biddle shows, he was really talking about the security issues with, Mint, and basically it's a Frankenstein because they just grab everything from all over. And yet, to me, it ran perfectly fine. But when you start talking about security,
the issues, like all of the negativity towards Mint is completely misplaced and fairly pointless. I mean, they're security conscious, they're privacy conscious, and they work and they support a wide range of stuff. I mean,
their distro itself didn't really seem to have security issues. It was more their website. The one time it got hacked because they had such a weak password.
For two. Well, I mean, we can't even say exactly what caused it unless they came out and said exactly what caused it. They run WordPress, and WordPress gets hacked if you don't stay constantly on top of it.
Oh, they did. They admitted. They admitted they had 2 weeks.
Oh, really? Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But I honestly think the things that Michael talks about is the only way I can interpret it is if you're building a car, they're probably using smaller screws instead of the right size screws, and it's not as safe as it should be. That's what I think he's getting to. But it's the nuts and bolts that we don't see that he talks about. But Cinnamon itself, I think, is really, really maturing quite nicely now, to be honest.
Yeah. It's basically like putting a Ford engine in a Chevy or vice versa, that kind of stuff. And I mean, I don't know. I never seem to have any of the concerns he mentioned, but I thought, okay, he knows what's going on under the hood of this stuff. Maybe he knows something I don't. But
he knows a lot more under the hood than what we do. So,
I think he hasn't been on it as hard on it, Colin, if you think about it lately. And even Nate talked about it on the Destination Linux show too, and he hasn't really said anything against it in a while, so maybe something's gotten better with it in his mind. I don't know.
I still think a lot of the disdain towards Mint is more to do with the fact that it's so user friendly, and the traditional old core of Linux users didn't like that because they liked to be geeky and things. And the reality is we don't need it to be geeky. We want stuff that works well without having to dig into a terminal to fix it.
Well, I installed Manjaro Cinnamon the other day just to have, because they're running the new Cinnamon. The Cinnamon Mint users have to wait till the 19 comes out. So I'm just trying to figure out what's new. There's some things that are new that went over the top of my head. So, but there's a few other things that are quite nice that are integrated in it now. So it's coming along nicely. They're slowly building it to something really good. So taken a while, but must be hard work, I would say.
What is Mark referring? Mark Yates is referring to. There's a known issue in Cinnamon. Did I miss something there that he's talking about?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I don't know of any.
I'm not
I
aware
think he's
of
asking a question. And you're looking, Cinnamon is having 100% CPU spike. Does this happen with similar DE like XFCE? It looks like he's asking a question.
Yeah, it was above that I saw that there was he said there was a known issue, so I don't know what that means.
Yeah, Anthony, try the XFCE because I have it now, and it finally froze on me with less than a gig of RAM after all this time, which I'm not complaining. Running Firefox,
some of the
just an experiment.
Some of the criticisms about Mint not being secure are overblown.
Sorry, Derek.
Yeah, they should call it Fire Turtle. It's so slow, but no.
Yeah, we were talking about people hating on Mint because it's user friendly. People like to call it, it's not secure or whatever. A few years ago, a lot of these people that criticize Mint are Arch users. A few years ago, we had the same criticism with Arch because the package manager, I guess, didn't sign packages or anything. So really, Arch wasn't secure, if you want to be honest. So every distro, I mean, if you really dig into them, all of them have some security issues you can point to and say, you're not a secure distro. Or is not as secure as you could be. You know. The
problem with Mint is it's based on a base off of a base, and that I think you got all that base situation, but still, I've got a soft spot for Linux Mint, and I think it's the best desktop for new people coming to Linux because it so reminds you of the way Windows works, and people will be used to that workflow. And it's a really good doorway into Linux, and then you can slowly learn about the other stuff. What I do with GNOME is I try and set the GNOME desktop up with 3 extensions to mimic that workflow. That's the GNOME menu, dash the panel, and the users themes. That's it. So that you don't even need the user themes really at the end of the day, but that's the workflow you can have that people will be used to. So,
and then you've got Farron OS, which is a base of a base of a base of a base.
It's all about that base.
Yeah.
I hope it's not all baseless after a while, you know. But welcome, Color Pixel. I'm looking at my ThinkPad. I shut down Firefox. I have nothing on the screen. It's using 103 megabytes of RAM. Wow. Linux Mint XFC on my ThinkPad. Yeah, nice. It's nice and zippy now. It ain't doing nothing, but yeah, I think, Anthony, you'll like Mint XFC if you want. Of course, with 8 gigs, it'll fly, you know, or it should fly anyway. And it looks nice. It's a nice look. It's got the, not the brisk, what's it, whisker menu. Yeah, whisker menu. It's pretty nice. I like it. Anyway, but try that one, Anthony, yeah. Color Pixel, what do you use? Wish more distros would allow persistent memory for tests. Yeah, that would be nice, Mugen. Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah. Wife woke you up, Anarita? Caught you eating peanuts. At least it's not ice cream. What you got to do is pour the peanuts on the ice cream.
There you go.
Toss has got it all worked out.
Sooner or later, this channel goes to food.
I have,
especially with Tom on, you know.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I mean, I cooked up this week. I have vanilla ice cream, mint chocolate chip ice cream, and chocolate pudding, all homemade. And I had a combination of all that for dessert today. It's just.
Tom, you make me hungry, mate.
I know. Should I go get a bowl?
Anthony, would you like to join the live chat? We could have another Italian on. Why not? If you want to. Just send me an email at totalostoday1@gmail.com if you want to.
Total food today with switch to food.
Yeah. If you'd like to jump on and say hello.
Hey, Colin, what are you running these days?
At the moment, I'm running. I'm still on Ubuntu GNOME 1804 Beta 2 on my main system, and my laptop runs. It's got 10 partitions on there, so I'm using that as test. But I'm figuring out what I want to run on this. I might actually try Mate on my main system 1804 to see if I have those issues with the panel disappearing and stuff. I don't think I will because it's totally Intel. So that's an Intel Skull Canyon. So, and it's got the M.2 SSD in it, which really works well. So I might give that a try, but I'm not sure. I'm torn. There's too many choices.
Yeah.
It's like going to the cheese aisle at the supermarket. There's just way too many choices.
Wow.
It's confusing.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't do that anymore. I would go bonkers. You know, I did in the beginning, but after 2,000 videos, I've settled down. It's kind of like getting married. I'm married to Ubuntu Mate, you know.
Well, I'm about to swear off distro hopping, at least on my main machine. It just got out of hand there for a little while.
It's time. It's just too time consuming.
It is. You waste so much time just back up restore. So.
Yeah.
Well, actually, what I do for changing my media PC, I literally have on my NAS. I have a folder. It's called Mobile Home. Literally, you spin up a distro, I transfer mobile home into home, and done.
I just got the data file on mine, so all I do is just click on the data file, and all my stuff's there. So I can hop as much as I like. Everything's there, as long as I don't wipe that data file clean when I'm installing. Which
So you're doing all those partitions. Are you just sharing like one home folder between all of them, or?
No, that's on the SSD one on the NUC. That's only a 250 gig SSD. So I have a 50 gig. I've got a 512 FAT32, a 50 gig hard drive for the operating system, which I install to root, and the data drive is just there holding all my data. So I can hop as much as I want. All I do, it'll recognize the data file. Just click on that, or you can add it to your FS tab, and it'll load automatically. So.
Mugen, what is smoked Gouda? I don't know what that is.
Gouda cheese.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's good stuff.
Ah, Gouda.
Yeah, it is.
That's what I was telling Rocco to do, because he was having those issues too. So if you load everything up on a data file, it's different to having a separate home partition, right? Because you've got a separate home partition, you cannot hop different desktop environments.
Do I sense a video coming from Mr. Collins' channel here? And
no, I've just finished my 1804 video, but it goes for an hour and 20 minutes, so I'm definitely going to have to put timestamps on it. But I show people how to use the terminal, how to use the software center, and how to use Synaptic Package Manager in one hit, so new people can see how people do it with the terminal. With Synaptic, I see as the middle ground between both of them. So
did you show that? But I'm talking about how you do your files, your data file, and all that. Did you show anything like that? Or
I've got plenty of videos showing that.
Okay.
I think I've got a few videos that show that's on my channel already. So
cool.
yeah. So I reckon that's the best way to go, because you can hop as much as you like. It doesn't really matter. But to be honest, once you get your Telegram and your Zoom and everything set up, you want to have something stable anyway. So I think I'll probably go for Ubuntu GNOME. I want to try Mate first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm addicted to that super key. I love that super key.
It's nice, yeah.
Yeah. Even when you're watching YouTube,
yeah.
your YouTube can continue. Your windows are all open. You see your time. You see all your windows just with the one click of a button. There's not many desktop environments that can do that. So it's addictive.
I'm looking at the ticker news feed. There's a new Ubuntu podcast. It's called 9 Lives to Die. It sounds like a Bond. You have 9 lives to die, Mr. Bond. It's like a Bond movie, you know. 9 lives to die. Okay, I'll have to check it out. I'm not sure what that means. Does that mean 9 ways for a kernel panic to kill your machine? I don't know, but I just a thought. 9 lives to die, Mr. Bond.
That would make an interesting video, though, doing 9 different ways to kill your Linux install.
Yeah. Yeah, really.
I thought there was only one way.
Sudo or
no, there's a million different ways to kill a Linux.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I actually one day changed the ownership of pretty much my entire hard drive to.
I was actually going to mention that one. Yeah, that's one of the worst ones.
Kill it.
Yeah, if you change permissions recursively on root,
Now, is there a way to change those back? I mean, obviously, I could boot into the drive.
It would take you so insanely long to do that. You're better off reinstalling always.
Yeah.
But last time I did that, I was just testing an installation, and I did that. I'm like, it's just reinstall. But I was thinking I could probably boot into something else and then reset permissions there. That might do it.
Yeah, I heard of an interesting way to kill a machine recently. A guy renamed, actually he didn't rename his home folder. He created a folder with the tilde symbol as the name of the folder. Now the tilde symbol is, of course, the alias to the home folder. So now he had the home folder, which is alias to tilde. Then he created a folder called tilde. He realized he messed up. So in the terminal, he removed the tilde folder, which removed his home folder.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
Bye-bye home folder. All his data gone. Now his install still works. I mean, he still had a Linux install, but all his data was gone.
Wasn't that a song? Bye bye home, bye bye happiness.
It's just some things you don't mess around with.
Wow.
Well, here's a fun one. Should we have a competition to run Suicide Linux?
Oh, Lord.
You know, I miss typing the terminal so much. I would be the first to go. So
I don't know. I might be. Depends on which keyboard I'm using.
Tom, do you install SL?
What's that?
You know, the steam locomotive program? Because I mistype LS all the time, and SL will cure that habit. Because every time you mistype it, now you get this steam locomotive that takes like 10 seconds going across your terminal. It's just one of those dumb programs, but it has a use. You know, it'll cure that problem of mistyping LS.
Oh, man.
You know, I was just thinking, for all those Windows newbie that might be watching, all those beginners, I bet you have never seen so much fun as you are now with us Linux guys, even though I use Windows. Admit it, Windows users, you know.
They're thinking all those guys are nerds, and most of them are bald. That's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Well, okay, sort of. Oh, man. Check out Dorian.dash. He has video of screen tearing. I tried to. What was I testing? I came with screen. I think it was Ubuntu Beta had a lot of screen tearing.
Yeah, KDE always does.
Okay.
Regardless of the distro.
Okay.
KDE has major screen tearing issues.
Okay.
You can be running a high-end NVIDIA graphics card. You're still going to have screen tearing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but okay.
Has anyone seen AJ Ryzek's recent video? His rant on Ubuntu?
Yeah. And I think he's tried it on 2 machines, and he
Happened
says
to
the
me.
installer crashed or something, right?
No, it happened to me too.
Okay.
He got the red screen of death, he calls it.
Oh, wow.
And now, what I did was I installed the community theme on my first Ubuntu installs while I was doing video. I logged out and logged back in, and it didn't start. So what I did was I went into a TTY. I dropped down to a TTY and uninstalled the community theme, went to restart, and still I just had a red screen. So it wasn't until the next day I started it back up, but it actually
That's
logged
weird.
in.
A red screen.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what was going on there.
No, I mean, with Windows, I get the blue screens of death.
Yeah, the blue screen. AJ's calling it the red screen of death.
Well, with my kernel pen, I got the black screen with, panic, but that was funny.
That was the popcorn. It's a popcorn.
Yeah.
Kernel panic.
Anthony, you've been using Linux since January 2017, so not that long. Have you been happy with it for the most part, Anthony? That's not that long, but great that you're on it still. Gray does count, Moog. Yeah, a gray screen of death. Yes. Yeah. Well, gray screen. I think the colors might be a code of themselves. Black means you have 0 luck. Blue screens are in the middle. Gray is a gray area. Ha! I'm not sure about that one, but
now we've got the red screen.
I've never seen a red screen.
If you're logging in and your desktop environment's crashing or not loading, you may get a solid color background because the wallpaper's not loading. So
okay.
I'm going to wait because I'm using KDN Live app image on my Ubuntu install. I'm doing my video on that, and I'm going to wait till I've done my video and I'll put it on my main system, and then I'm going to log out because I haven't tried logging out because the last time I logged out it would not log back in. So I'm staying away from log out right now. So I don't know if it's the community theme that did it or not, but because when you put the community theme in, you've got to select that with the gear icon on the login screen, and that's when it went funny. That was the reason or not. So I'm not.
Also, that community theme is installed as a snap package.
Yes, it is. That's right. I don't know.
Yeah. So be aware of that.
Yeah,
I've had some problems with snaps not working correctly.
Only red I have is my Toshiba backup drive. That's red. It comes in different colors, but yeah.
Is it a good idea to have a snap package for something that's actually part of the startup? I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Maybe that's the reason why. I don't know.
A lot of the programs installed by default in Ubuntu now were installed as snaps. If you go look at your snap folder, yeah, there's a number of things that were installed on the ISO as snaps. Yeah.
But the snap is involved in snap. Sorry, Joe.
I never had an issue like you guys, or maybe it was Rocket I was describing, with the double icons up there in Mate until I actually put it on the laptop here.
Yep.
And it showed up with double wireless icons
Yeah.
until I rebooted it. And then it disappeared after I rebooted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double. I get that. Yeah.
I would wait for a point release, I think, on Mate before I try it on my main machine. That's why I thought the laptop would be a safe place to put the current one on there. But
I'm happy with as long as it does what I want it to with what I use here. I think I'm okay.
Well, again, I've got that boot up issue that I think I don't know if I did something to it or what. Whenever, who knows? It's been a while, and it's a little annoying to have to wait because I know this should boot up in seconds. And I don't know. I thought, well, do I just try the upgrade on here when the time comes and see if that corrects it? But I still think a fresh install is going to be the way to go. That's why I thought if I try it on the other drive that's in here. And I'm paranoid, so I don't have an IC dock yet. I want to put one in here. So I always take the side panel off and unplug the other drive so I make sure I don't do any accidental installs or wipeouts.
So you're still getting double
No, I loaded it up along with Ubuntu 1804 on a 64 gig dongle drive I have in this test laptop, and I did that purposely because I thought maybe the next time I went on one of the shows I'd try it on there and see how it all worked. But that was the first time I ever experienced that, and I did try that install on even the virtual machine, and it didn't happen in the virtual machine. Although I did have the same thing people were complaining about, where the Breeze menu would crash.
Right. Well, I quite often find that changing from the default familiar theme to Munity. Did I just call it Munity? It's Munity.
I like that, Munity. That sounds pretty good. Munity, yeah. That sounds pretty good, actually. Yeah, Munity, yeah.
Changing from the default familiar to Mutiny, that's when I get the double ups. Then if I go to traditional, back to Mutiny, it goes away. So, or I log out or I restart, it's gone. But I was getting, even on a log out or restart, they were still staying there until I went to traditional and back to Mutiny. So I found that to be something weird. But just back on the red screen of Death Toss, AJ was saying he went to the forums and there's many people having that problem.
Wow. I did not have that problem. No.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. So
I didn't have any problem. I mean, it was running a little slow, but in terms of stability, I was impressed. That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anything's possible.
Right, anyway. Yeah. I think it's hardware. It comes down to hardware again.
Yeah. I would have to agree on that. I'm looking at the ticker feed, and there's a headline here that says, Yale physicists find signs of a time crystal. Ooh. Yale physicists have uncovered hints of a time crystal, a form of matter that ticks when exposed to electromagnetic pulse. That sounds interesting, I think.
Sounds a little scary to me.
I know. Anyway, they call it that sounds like a movie, The Time Crystal. Time Crystal. Time Crystal, yeah. Let's see. Gmail's self-destruct feature will probably be used to illegally destroy government records. There's a self-destruct feature with Gmail? I'm not familiar with that one. Is that a new feature? Gmail self-destruct feature. Interesting. I don't know what that is. Huh. Okay. I'll have to check that out maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Let's see what else we got on the ticker.
Is there a website you can get ticker feeds from, or how do you get or are you using defaults that came with the program?
I'm using TICKR to install, and then I'll just go to the websites and plug them in there, like OMG, Ubuntu, or whatever, Ars Technica, and you just plug in there.
They have ticker plugins, do they? Because I try to find Australian news and stuff that can scroll across.
So, don't know about Australia. I haven't looked, but yeah.
Can you manually add feeds to that?
I think you can.
Yeah, I mean, if you can manually add feeds to the ticker, then you should be able to take any news site's RSS feed and put it into it.
As long as they have the ticker thing, right? I don't know if it's a big thing.
Well, what I'm saying is if the ticker program that he's using allows you to enter your own custom RSS feeds, you should be able to put in an RSS feed from any news site.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So does it allow you to do that?
Yeah, I just I go to what I do. Right click on the feed.
What's the install script for that?
Let me see here. Let me go back. Okay, I run the ticker.
How do you install it?
Oh, it's TICKR. TICKR. Yeah. Das Geek is in the house, Ryan. Ryan, would you like to join the feed?
Rapstar.
Rapstar, yeah.
His rap name is MC Charut.
MC Charut.
Ticker feed reader.
Yeah.
All right. Forward. First run position.
Yeah, I right click, go to file, open feed, and you can you can add or remove. Yeah, it's pretty basic, yeah.
Browser. Sure.
What's up, Ryan?
Sure. Yes.
So ticker's not available in Ubuntu, huh? It's not in the software center anyway.
Really?
Well, I just installed in terminal. By the way, the GNOME software installer installed in Ubuntu does not have all the software you can install.
Oh, I know, right. Isn't that right? Unreal.
Okay.
It's goofy. It's just weird. Hey, I got a ticker. All right, so let me right click.
But you can always fire up Synaptic.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to install it through the terminal anyway.
That's faster.
I better close the software center, better not.
Import feed list, export feed list.
Oh.
Preferences, import preferences, control.
Yeah, it looks like Das is feeling a little bit under the weather. He can't join us.
Yeah. Okay.
Though I did want to congratulate him. He finally joined the OpenBox master race. He's running the OpenBox window manager now.
Wow.
I think isn't he doing Python as well? I think I've seen him
but that's why he's sick, I think. Because I don't know.
Yeah, he's doing a little Python programming. That's awesome too. Yeah.
I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I've got the.
You could. You just had to put some time into it.
I'm looking at the feed. What is it? Twitter was hacked. Twitter.
Yeah.
It says, wow.
No, it wasn't. Wait. No, Twitter was not hacked.
Leak. It says internal leak.
They had a problem where the passwords were somehow managed to be stored in plain text in an internal log. Hey, can I call you a little bit?
Well, I guess I need to close my Twitter account then. I deleted my Facebook account today. So.
Oh, it never ends, man. Leaks, hacks.
Okay.
God.
All right, so I'm seeing there's like default feed, current feed is, and I'm seeing. Okay, so if I get rid of that, how can I have multiple?
I'm waiting for Leak OS to come out. There we go.
Yeah.
So let me go to, for example, to Ars Technica.
Isn't that called Windows?
There you go. There you go. Well, that's more like grab. They just grab it. They don't leak. They just grab it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Let me see.
Let's see what's on the ticker feed here.
That's right. Today was Star Wars Day.
Okay.
Yeah, May the 4th.
Oh, is that what?
The 4th be with you.
Okay.
May the 4th be with you.
Feel the power of the dark side.
Yeah.
Linux. Linux. Feel the power of Ubuntu. Anyway,
I still haven't seen these rap videos you guys been talking about. I've looked at them.
I've only seen DTs. It wasn't bad.
You're not missing much, Joe.
Okay.
I did a mediocre rap video, and then DOS did a reply. It was pretty bad. You don't want to watch it.
There's an old joke that goes, do you know how breakdancing got started? It all started when this kid tried to steal hubcaps off a moving car. Gotta break this, break that, yeah. That's an old one. That's like 30 years old. I heard it, yeah.
Yeah, obviously any joke about breakdancing is going to be an old joke.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Do they even do it nowadays? I don't even know what they do nowadays, yeah.
Yeah. Every so often on when like America's Got Talent or one of those shows, somebody'll do something that kind of looks like it, a little bit.
Okay.
I don't think it's the thing it used to be back way.
Okay.
Well, everything returns. Everything is in cycles. I mean, you can still buy boom boxes and parachute pants.
I bought a boom box, for my birthday in March. Yeah, why not, man? The one I had at 20 years old finally crapped out, and I bought one. That has Bluetooth. I moved on up in the world. Bluetooth boom box.
I see Anthony said he left Windows for Mac, Mac for Linux, and and I don't know if it's still available, but there used to be a Mac Ubuntu Linux at one time.
Yeah.
On Ticker, I can't find a way to import just some other Ticker feed. I can't seem to find one.
Yeah, you got to download the Ticker feed from a website first, right? And then
copy and paste. That's what I do.
I mean, let me just try a different site because I tried to grab a feed from Ars Technica and that wouldn't work.
I just can't find a Ticker feed on some of my websites. That's all. Which is
that's possible, sure, but these are just like feeds.feedburner.com / looks like that's OMGDOD Noobs Lab. It's pretty basic stuff. Some of these are pre-installed, these feeds. You can just tick them on.
Yeah, that's right,
Yeah. Planet Ubuntu /
I think Ticker just crashed my system.
Oh no. Oh no.
I can't access my menu anymore.
Oh no.
I mean, my Ticker's working. It's working because it says
okay.
Hawaii volcanoes is erupting or something.
Anheuser-Busch just bought 800 fuel cell Nikola trucks. Interesting. Running it off alcohol? I don't
know. Where'd it go? It's not working.
Well, drinking alcohol is ethanol, so. That is why, like the 100% alcohols, like Everclear and diesel, why they call diesel is because it's basically. You can put it in a diesel engine and start it. It's not good for the engine. It's bad for the engine.
No.
It will crank.
Yeah, it will crank and go knock knock.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. North Korea changes its time zone to match south. Wow.
Ah.
I have lost all use of my panel bar.
Oh no.
All for an RSS reader.
Looks like the ticker has ticked them off. Sorry, Tom.
That's fine. I have a terminal. I can get access to anything I need.
Yeah.
There's some really nice terminal-based RSS readers too. If you guys want to check them out. I mean, they won't tick or go across your screen, but you can read news feeds.
Nah, I gotta have the tick. I gotta have a ticker. I gotta have a scroll. Yeah, that's making it so convenient.
I'm gonna paste. I'm gonna save that feed in there.
GIMP 2.10 is finally here. Yay! All right, I like GIMP.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Here you go, Colin. There's the sample one in Ticker is newsrss.bbc.co.uk.
Right. Yeah, that's the one. Yep, that tells you that there's Hawaii's got a fresh volcano eruption.
Yes, saw that. It's pretty amazing. I've climbed Mount Etna in Sicily years ago. While I was somewhat sleeping. It's quite a sight. At the base, you have green. As you get closer and closer to the top, it's like the moonscape. It's all, blackened out. It's an amazing sight. Tresnato's in the house. Welcome. Yeah, I'll never forget that. This is before, high-end cameras and cell phones, but I'll never forget that scene. It was like a movie set. Weird, but it was kind of cool. I mean, I wouldn't do it again because that was stupidly dangerous to try, but it's quite a sight. Yeah.
Nice.
How are you, Tresnato? What Linux do you use? By the way, everybody watch. I think I'm going to wrap this up at 1 o'clock in about 15 minutes, okay?
Sure.
So if you have questions or something to ask one of us, please do. Don't be shy. If you are new, that's what all this is about. So.
And Sub-Zero in the chat is mentioning Manjaro just went to #1 on Distro Watch.
Okay. Really? Is that right? Wow.
See, I talked about it, and there you go. When Toss speaks, everybody listens.
I really hate that people pay attention to the Distro Watch numbers.
I know. It's just a guide. That's all it is. Yeah. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I use it. We use it, but
I love Manjaro. I'm on Manjaro right now. There's no way Manjaro has 10% of the users that Ubuntu does. Or Debian, or Fedora.
I bet somebody in Manjaro just created a bot to keep on going every single day. That's all DistroWatch does is how many,
I can name you 10 or 15 distros right now. I know for a fact I have more users than Manjaro, regardless of what DistroWatch has to say. So.
I'm rebooting the computer now because it died.
How long has Mint been on top of the Distro Watch for, though? I'd like to know. If that's the first time, since when has that dropped down from #1? Does anybody know when it first started?
4 or 5 years ago, at least. Yeah, it's been a while. But Mint's not the most popular distro on the desktop either. I mean, that's why the numbers are kind of weird. I mean, Mint doesn't have nearly as many users as Ubuntu for sure. Probably not even Debian or Fedora. Maybe not even, I don't know.
Well,
maybe not even March.
The problem with Ubuntu is it doesn't have, see, Mint, you can go for their XFCE, their KDE, their Cinnamon, their Mate. You click the one link on DistroWatch. Whereas with Ubuntu, they're all separated. So that's the big difference between the two on DistroWatch.
Well, the thing with the DistroWatch rankings is they don't really measure anything of value. They don't measure installs or downloads. So those Mint numbers are skewed because it's SEO rankings, basically search engine rankings. Right. When you search for Linux Mint in Google, the second or third result is the DistroWatch link. So anybody that searches Google for Linux Mint is going to be taken to that DistroWatch page. When you search for Ubuntu in Google, you get Ubuntu.com, the Ubuntu forums, Ask Ubuntu, Ubuntu's Facebook page, their Twitter page, a million other things. Way down the list, you get their DistroWatch page, like on page 2. Nobody finds the Ubuntu DistroWatch page searching in Google.
Yeah.
That's why Mint is higher in the rankings then.
But if you put one link for Ubuntu, and under that link you put Xubuntu, Lubuntu, Ubuntu Mate, Ubuntu Budgie, Chillin, what's the other one, the audio one, and all that. If you put them all under that one link on DistroWatch, Ubuntu Studio, if you put them all under the one link like Mint is, then you'll probably find Ubuntu will be on top.
Yeah, but like I said, it's not measuring anything. It's only measuring basically what people find in the search engines. That's all that measures.
Yeah, I agree with you, Derek. There, I have to say, but I'm just making a point of how that works. It's a bit unfair to Ubuntu that it works that way.
Well, I think there's someone in the chat who can clarify all this right now. That's English Bob. And he's like, oh, really?
Also, Keegan called me out for using Google. Yes, I still use Google occasionally. I don't use DuckDuckGo.
It works. Yeah, it works. What's up, EB? What's up, man?
G'day, EB.
He says, what did he say? What should I have? What OS? Caddy OS, as in Cadillac OS, with the big truck. With the big truck, yeah, right. Caddy OS with the big truck, right, yeah. Oh, man. Yep.
No, I still think you do Tony Montana Linux.
Yeah, I got to do Tony Montana on Linux, man. Okay, I put the wallpaper of lots of ludes and look freaking good. Okay. Oh man, that brings back
your live
Scarface.
desktop. Yeah, your live desktop should be live cockroach.
Yeah, live cockroach.
Guys, say hello to my little distro.
That's right. Say hello. Oh man, I could have the mouse cursor shaped like a lewd pill, you know. Oh god. Here we go. Demonetized. All hope is gone for this one. God. Welcome to the family channel of Tony Montana. Okay, you kids, come on in, man. Let me show you how to swallow these pills. Okay, come here. God. Oh God. Oh man, you can tell it's getting late. My favorite app is called Funny How. Oh man, funny how things work out. See, Bob, you missed it when I had my third monitor go bad in 8 years, 9 years, something like that. It just me and monitors just see. My Cadillac trunk is full of monitors at this point. No, but so I had my what was I doing? Oh, I was trying to install Peppermint OS, English Bob, and I got a kernel panic. My first one in years. No problem. I recommend to newbies when you have a kernel panic, you call 911 and the Windows 10 ambulance comes to the house. But and it fixes everything, you know. Oh man. But
I don't think you need to be giving him incentive about dead things in the back of your caddy trunk, Toss.
I know. Right. Yeah, Bob, forget about. Hey, forget about. And, you know, in Italian, they go like this, like you're out of your mind. No way, forget about. You know, then there's this one here, you know, they give.
Yeah, I told him that's because his PC thought he was cheating on him and didn't recognize it as Ubuntu Mate.
That's right.
Can you guys tell me why I'm getting all these Karate Kid advertisements all over YouTube?
Oh, what's the new
Is there some kind of
Cobra Kai?
Yeah,
it's a web series remake, or not a remake, but I guess they're catching up after 30 years of the Karate Kid. Now they're grown up.
Oh, it's like all the original people coming back.
Yeah, they're back now. They're grown up, and they still have a feud between the two.
Can we come up with original ideas? Original ideas.
I know, man. Yeah. I am sick of it. I mean, Avengers, this. I mean, give me something original, like Godzilla tries Linux or something. Give me something original.
You know, Hollywood is out of ideas when they take a 30-year-old mediocre movie, and remake it.
Well, the first one was okay. I kind of like. I remember the first one. It was okay.
It wasn't like an Oscar-winning film. Or
no. But I think I remember it being different than a Chuck Norris or Bruce Lee movie. It was more of a family type, if I recall it. Right, it was okay. But then the sequels got a little bit, you know, whatever. Okay.
The YouTube button on the YouTube site, they're advertising that next to the YouTube button now.
Absolutely pisses me off because I use that button to go back to the main page.
Yeah.
And of course, if we had the ability to turn that button into the page, then we might have 16 million views in one day as well.
That's why I mentioned it, is because it's in my way. Is that advertisement?
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's a bit like Roseanne. Roseanne's just been advertised in Australia now. You must have that on TV. The new series, is it?
They were advertising that for a while.
Yeah, they're putting that in.
I can understand Roseanne because that was big news, but the Karate Kid, I don't know.
I did enjoy Man of Steel. I will admit that. They're like the reboot of Superman. That was okay. I kind of enjoyed it. I hate to admit it.
Haven't seen that one. Man of Steel.
Yeah, it came out 3 years ago, and then they had the sequel, Batman vs Superman, which didn't quite work out for me. But Man of Steel was okay. Check it out. It's not bad for a reboot. They hired a new star. I can't think of his name. Henry Cavill. Is that his name? But that was okay. I mean, for a reboot, it wasn't bad. But I heard Batman. Batman Superman. I heard.
They don't have the kapow and the pow.
No. Pow. Woo.
It's getting late.
Yeah, really.
I haven't had lunch yet. That's my problem.
But we're talking Hollywood. Yeah, they're not. originality, man. I don't know what's up with them. My Windows update seems okay, English Bob. Yeah, I did an update. If it came out a couple days ago, that's the one I believe. Yeah, it went okay as far as I know.
Oh, there's an 1803, is it? Is that the next one?
Is that the one it was, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
It took like 3 reboots. Yeah, it seemed, I rebooted, it didn't crash. There was no blue screen or red screen or black screen or whatever. So it seems okay, yeah.
I'll have to download that and have a look.
Yeah, there's a couple new features like ransomware protection built in or something, which is
I
great.
actually thought you were just going to say ransomware and stop. I was about to say, really? That's a new feature. They had that way back.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yes, the new update has, yeah, right, yeah.
The whole OS is ransomware. It's got your data.
Yeah, really.
I was going to say, ransomware is not new. They had that back in 95.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Robert Lopez.
Battlestar, yeah.
Lost in Space reboot. Yeah, that's the newest one as well. It's out, Lost in Space.
Lost in Space, nah. Battlestar Galactica was okay, the reboot. 5 years on Sci-Fi, that was okay.
Yeah.
Lost in Space, nah, it's just not working for me, no.
I can deal with the sci-fi stuff, but like the superhero comic book stuff,
It gets old after a while.
That's what I'm saying. The Avengers is actually, if you know the Avengers series, they're following the actual comic progression. So it's not necessarily that they keep rebooting old movies over and over again. They're just following the pattern of how the comics actually led through the stories.
That's true.
Yeah, after a while, so it's like it's like the Rambo movies, they or whatever. They all, they start to get old, and they just.
I like the first one.
Fast and Furious franchise movies. Those things are so ridiculous when you think about from where they started to what they do now. It's like it's so far fetched. It's actually almost sickening. I mean, but that's just my opinion.
How can they better themselves? How can they top? Right, it gets
Well, it's the extreme of they went from street racers and knocking off semi trucks to going into foreign countries and doing all kinds of extreme big thefts and against the government.
See, I think for the next Fast and the Furious, they should have it in space, build a big space station with their racetrack in space. And when the cars get bumped, they start to float off the track and they just fly. I think that'd be great. No, I don't know, but.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to movies, like I didn't understand a lot of movies. My offsider at work, he's a bit of a Star Wars buff, and he was telling me that the original Star Wars that came out was like the number 3 in the story, and then they go back and all the new ones are going back and telling the story that led up to the original Star Wars that came out.
Yeah,
yeah. They did 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7.
Yeah.
3.5, 8. Yeah. I mean, it's insane.
You have to throw Rogue One in there somewhere, and
that's 3.5.
Kind of like the Godfather. Actually, the early days,
Yeah, the first 2 Godfathers were classics. The third one, I didn't like it as much. They took too long to make. It has its moments. It was okay, but I think they took too long to make it. But there was a book called The Godfather Returns that was yet another sequel. I think that was never done to a movie.
The problem with sequels that follow like really, really great movies, they're always going to disappoint.
Did anybody else here know there is actually a book, not a movie, but a book sequel to E.T.?
No.
Really?
Oh, no.
Yeah, and the book, Elliot and E.T. continue to communicate across Interstellar until the communication breaks down and leads him into like depression or something because he loses that part of him. It's a fascinating read.
Interesting.
I forget the exact name of it. See if I can look that up.
Well, okay, and now I'm a car guy, so the Gone in 60 Seconds back in what was it in the 70s, I think, and then the one that was remade in later years, I liked them. I liked them both. I actually like the one later years better because it's more, I shouldn't say. I mean, I like both cars. I just like the way the second one was done to some extent. But something like that is okay. Smokey and the Bandit. I was a big, huge fan of that.
Smokey and the Bandit.
The second one was okay. The third one was completely ridiculous. But
I'm waiting for the Knight Rider movie, man. Because now it's all coming to life. 30 years ago it was so far-fetched, but now it's true. So why not,
Yeah.
Yeah, so few sequels actually do it, right?
Yeah, I think that was filmed down there in Arizona when the Uber car. Oh wait, hold on.
Right.
Best sequel ever made, though, Toss. Godfather Part 2. Best sequel ever made.
If few sequels were it beat expectation, yeah. And I remember seeing that as a kid. My father took me to the premiere at the Paramount. I think it was called the Paramount Theater, and he was in all the movies. He took I had to dress up, and I didn't like getting dressed up. You know, it was a premiere, and who knows? I could have ran into Al Pacino, didn't give a crap, you know, at the time. But I remember sitting there, I'm like to myself, I mean, this is really a freaking long movie, Pop, you know. Now, years later, I appreciated it more, you know. But at that time in 74, I was just a kid. I'm like, oh, God, when is it going to end, you know?
And you know what? The Empire Strikes Back was better than A New Hope. And I could make an argument for Aliens over Alien, but I know
you could.
Some people
it's two different. The first was more cerebral thinking. The second was more action.
Yeah, one's horror, one's more sci-fi action.
They're both good, and I enjoyed the first AVP. I enjoyed it. I bought the DVD.
Ooh, I didn't care for that one.
Yeah, I thought the story fit. Pyramids, ancient, you know, gods and all that. I thought the story fit.
Aliens and predators all on Earth.
The first one, not the sequels, but the first one was all right.
Well,
actually, I enjoyed it.
Alien versus Predator, I thought to myself, when do they stop making this stuff? And then I watched it. I actually quite enjoyed it.
It wasn't that bad. It was enjoyable. I mean, it made fun of itself in a way, but it didn't take itself seriously. But it was fun. I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, the story kind of makes sense in a way. You know, I mean, the action, I thought the special effects were top rate. They had one of the stars from the Aliens, the guy who played the robot. He was back in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you know what? For a sequel, obviously not a classic like the first. It was okay. Now the ones after that, you know. So
yeah.
I did enjoy the Godzilla reboot. I hate to admit that, but the one that came out for you, I'm like, you know what?
Which one? There's been so many.
Well, the one in 24 just called Godzilla.
The recent one, yeah.
Yeah, that was okay. I think they're making a sequel to that. But I'm looking. I saw like, you know what? This is it's not as bad as I thought it could be, and it was better than I thought it was going to be. So sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But you're right about originality. I don't know what Hollywood is thinking.
Okay, who loves Moana?
Moana. I don't know Moana, man.
Moana.
I did find an E.T. book though. For those curious, it's called E.T. the Book of the Green Planet.
Oh.
I actually read it.
Okay.
Why are you watching Moana though, Joe? I gotta
my
ask.
grandchildren, my granddaughter.
I've got nieces, so I knew what you were talking about. So
she watches. So you know what though? In fairness, it is very, very well done. Not only just the way the movie is done, but the graphics and everything.
Yeah.
If you really like it for that. And Coco's another one too. I mean,
Coco I heard was good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I got that music ingrained. It's burned into my brain because she watches it. I don't, today they were over most of the day, and I bet you it was on 3 times today alone. So
I don't think nothing could beat Toy Story and Lion King. They were the big things when my kids were younger.
Yeah,
they were good storylines, and they're very clever because they aimed at both the kids and the parents as well. So and that's what they're very good at doing these days.
Well,
so
the original Beauty and the Beast was good, and actually the remake. I don't know if you've seen that, but that actually is a good remake. So.
No, I haven't.
You've got a question, Joe. What are you running from English Bob? Mate now?
I am still on my Mate 1710. I haven't budged off of it yet.
Oh, yeah, you're on 1710 still. Oh, I thought you'd up that. Oh, so what, you don't want to upgrade?
I may go to 1804, but after the point release. I've got 1804.
Right.
Mate and Ubuntu loaded up on the laptop, and I may actually jump on that tomorrow just to see how they run, during the little show. But
yeah, there's no hurry to move on. I mean, I would wait for the point release for stability reasons. Let them iron out the bugs.
Well, you have until the end of July until it's end of life, right? I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't patient. That's why I did it. I took a chance, and it's fine. But normally I would probably wait. But for me,
I honestly wish 1710 was an LTS. I'll be honest with you. I like it.
Yeah, really, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I actually agree with that, Joe. I think the 1710s were a bit more stable than the 1804 with all the problems I've seen so far.
Well, IG did a review of it. I just watched the video today, and I know that Martin Wimpress had commented in there. One of the things that was brought up, which really, if you think about this, for most reviewers, how many do you really notice point this out? But IG said the only thing which isn't a real complaint, he said it's just a little quirk or thing that kind of bugged him, was by default the sounds are turned on, so when you're scrolling over here, kind of a thing over the menu.
Right.
But Martin's thing was, he goes, that's done mostly for people who are visually impaired, so it gives them some kind of a clue. Because when you think about how many reviewers really look at it from an accessibility standpoint, that kind of thing, which makes perfect sense. So I did comment on there, because I absolutely loved his reviews that he's been doing lately. But I pointed out, maybe hoping Martin would see it because it was under Martin's comment. The only thing that there's a couple little quirks here, but the one that still drives me nuts the most is that you can't grab a window easily enough to resize it. And I know, Derek, you had pointed out about the borders, but honestly, when you look at Ubuntu's got literally like no borders, and it snaps right on there. And if you look at the cursor, it almost changes to like two arrows with a dot. The dot snaps to the corners or wherever you want to grab it. And if they can get that feature ironed out, that's my biggest complaint out of this at all, which I can live with it, but it's still annoying when you want to resize a window. You got to sit there and tweak around and play with it.
Yeah, change the theme and see if that helps. It could be whoever created the theme just didn't fix that the right way.
Well, it's the Ubuntu dark theme that I'm running. It's the native one that was one of the native ones that was in it.
Mm-hmm.
I've had it with different. I guess I could try going back to a light theme or whatever, but I don't know that it's going to change anything.
I'm still getting a kick, English Bob, i3 and Arco. Arco is an oil company.
Yeah, and I mentioned in the chat that I'm running Manjaro i3. I should have mentioned to Bob that or Steve, I'm not running i3, the window manager. I'm actually living in Qtile, a tiling window manager written in Python.
So I have to ask about Arco Linux. Is it full synthetic or is it a blend, a type of OS? Is it fast? Is it slick? Ha
Wait, you said it.
Right, isn't Arco oil, right? Yeah, Arco. That's here in the States. Yeah.
Eric Dubois explained the name for Arco. Arco translates to arch and a variety of.
No, I get it. I'm just saying that name's been taken, so be careful. Yeah. You may get a call from your oil company to say, hey, you want to pay us for that name? and then he'll say, forget about it. You can have it,
Well, the Arco oil company couldn't take him to court over that because no one would confuse Arco Linux with the oil company.
No, but the point is the name's taken. I'm just to get picky. It's taken.
Although some companies do get picky about that. Apple, of course, is notorious about.
Yeah.
I mean, they took somebody to court one time over. They named their coffee shop like the Apple Cafe, and they took this guy to court.
Apple lost a lawsuit over Steve Jobs jeans. That name's taken. Steve Jobs.
I think that they should get over it. They should get over it. Just because you got a name similar, my goodness, are they not making enough money already? These big companies, do they really think some little coffee shop's going to drive them out of business? My goodness.
Well, also they have the Apple logo. So any logo that involves an apple with a bite taken out of it, they can sue you over. So,
wow.
And that's such a common, kind of image, a half-eaten apple. So
instead of right, yeah, go ahead. Like instead of thanking you for the free publicity, but go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah, I agree. I was just going to say, I quite often wonder with the Ubuntu long-term supports whether there's anything that they actually hold off during the previous one, like the 1710. Is there something that they just throw in just before they release that causes issues? I don't know, because I don't know how many times I've seen whereas you've got a long-term support come out and people start having problems. And I don't know whether there's certain things that they hold off just before main release and then throw it in there and then it just hasn't been tested or something. Because this seems...
Watch the interview of Destination Linux with Martin. It was like over 2 hours, and he does address that specifically, that they do not release everything in the initial LTSs. it comes out over time with everything they're going to wind up putting into it. So
right, okay. I did watch that interview, but I don't remember that part. But maybe that's why, because this seems to be happens all the time, doesn't it? Yeah. So that's why, like you say, the point releases are better because they're buying them things out.
Yes.
So, yes. Okay.
I would have to agree. Yeah. All right, people in chat, 5-minute warning for real now. I stayed on because if English Bob came in, then we'll wrap it up. So anybody watching, last call for comments. I had my wine of alcohol starting to kick in now, but if you have any questions you wanted to ask, now's your chance.
That one glass of wine 2 hours ago is just now kicking in.
Yeah, well, it kicked in about 45 minutes ago when I said, it kicked in. So I'm kind of, I mean, if my fourth monitor crapped out, I would go, it's okay. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I was telling Joe before we went live, it's cost me like $1,000. But see, I like to drive down the highway, just flow out, toss out $1,000 bills out the window. It feels great, man. It's just,
Just be glad it didn't crap out on you in the middle of a stream.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could have recovered, but that would have been really like English Bob says, really. But yesterday, I was proud of myself. I didn't curse. I think God has tested me. I didn't curse. I was like, oh man, really, But and then when I broke the freaking keyboard trying to fix it, that's when I knew I'm done. Great to see you here, you too, English Bob. Yes. You're welcome anytime. I didn't really see you, but
check his comment out.
the caddy truck, yeah. Next time you see a caddy truck, check it for TOS monitor. Okay. God. What's weird? I have this ThinkPad that's cracked. It works. The other ThinkPad that has Linux Mate, the original battery still works. It's cracked. That works. But a Toshiba computer that's almost in mint condition, no, that one breaks. Okay.
By the way, Steve, your logo is fine and it's nice, but it's throwing me because your EB used to just jump right out at you in the chat. Look for you.
That was a catchy logo. You're right. For branding purposes, I'd go back to the EB.
Yeah, it would jump right out at you. So.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Maverick says, has anybody lost shingles today? You mean like house shingles?
From storms, I'm assuming?
We
had a storm
through here, which they said was the worst that's ever come through here. There was hail that was, they said half an inch. I think it was probably closer to probably an inch and something. And some of them, they were jagged. They were like golf ball size and then some. And I don't know how. My wife was sitting out in the driveway when it was going on, waiting for it to let up. And I haven't looked at it every inch, but I didn't see one mark on that car. So I don't know how it didn't. It was so bad. So bad. Did you get any of that, Carmine, where you're at?
We had a little bit of wind, but it wasn't that bad today. Not that I recall. By the time I got to the high school banquet at 6 p.m. local, there was very little wind.
It's
rain.
Very scary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was 2 days ago that ours happened, so I thought you would have had it.
Yeah.
We had about 3-4 years ago in Perth, and my car's all dented as a result of that. Mm-hmm. It's got dents all over it. It's scary.
Oh, yeah. My wife pulls up, and she has a tendency to hit the garage. We don't have enough room for both cars in there right now. My truck's in there. And I went and pushed the lock on the garage door thing to shut it off, so she couldn't open it up. I don't want my truck getting I called her out in the car. I said, make sure you come in through the front door because you're not getting in the garage. I don't want the truck getting damaged. She goes, oh, I see where I stand.
Reading the last ticker, California to become first U.S. state mandating solar on new homes. Good for California. Nice. I like that. Very good.
Mandating solar on new homes, though.
Yeah.
That's like corporatocracy getting back into the mix because Now you have a government regulation mandating that I purchase things from. And of course, since it costs way too much to get the cheaper ones imported, now I have to buy the few American companies like Tesla and others that are doing that. Like, I can't support that, you know? I mean, it's...
Maybe not force, maybe recommend, maybe make better tax credits. Yeah. Maybe that might be better. Yeah. Come to think of it, but most
insurance companies give you a credit for that anyway.
Yes.
And here's the funny thing is the break-even point for solar panels with the amount of energy they take to produce is several decades to break even on the energy consumption. It's like the whole thing's like, electric cars. How you charging those electric cars?
Geothermal actually would be a better choice, but the problem is it's like $50,000 to put a system like that in.
And that's natural.
That's natural, And like we had sprinkler systems here that they started mandating for 3 units and up, and they were talking about doing it in 2 units too. The money that would be required to retrofit a building after the fact would be ginormous. And the other
if you're
thing,
starting from scratch, right?
Around the country, they're like, I don't know if they're doing it around the country, but here, a lot of the stuff that's being pulled is eminent domain too. When these, they see a better deal for themselves or whatever, they're starting to pull the eminent domain card out now over here, which is a little unnerving. They put one restaurant that was clear of debt for years, went $300,000 into debt to have to reopen their business because they forced them to move because they wanted it for a different type of commercial application. So.
And that's a big problem. It's one thing if the government's doing some government-run thing, but we're seeing a lot of eminent domain. We had a ton of it in our town too. Eminent domains, they can clear out some people just to sell the land to business guys. Here in State College, there were like two trailer park areas over on North Atherton, and they just wanted those out because it was considered bad for town to have a bunch of trailers in the middle of town because they used to be on the fringe, but since town sprawled up, they literally bought all those things, kicked everybody out almost 10 years ago. They've kicked everybody out, and it's vacant lots sitting there now, which looks worse than the trailers. It's horrible. And of course, eventually some business guy's going to put a restaurant in there, but it's sad.
All I ask is of my government, fix the freaking potholes. Do it right. Do it right. Don't patch. Dig in like 6 feet down or whatever. Think like the Godfather. Put a drainage system so the water, when it freezes, like it doesn't stay on and crack. I mean, free it like in the ice cracks the road. You got to have drainage. Do it right. We're a superpower, but no, let's spend trillions in Iraq or some other company or country named Stan. Stay away from Stan when you travel to Afghanistan, Uzbekistan. That's bad.
You can't depend on the government for anything at the end of the day. So you just
really. All right, I'm going to stop the broadcast to everybody watching. Thank you for sticking around, and probably be here next Friday. Probably maybe 8:30 instead of 10:30. Like I said, tonight I had to go to a banquet. But everybody watching, thank you.
Yeah, it was fun, guys.
It's always fun. So the people who stopped in who are new, thank you. And if you're new and didn't stop in, shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. I'll catch you next week for all the newbies who didn't stop in. Yeah, okay. Take care.
Peace, guys.
See you tomorrow.